Wendy with a notebook, Wendy with a pen, digging through the dark where the secret's been. Questions fly like bullets, truth cuts deep in the shadows where nightmares creep. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. With fire in their veins and mistrust in their eyes, Randy and Wendy taking you for a ride. Clues left scattered like whispers in the wind. Every page they turn closer to the end. No stone unturned, no mystery safe. Through the chaos they pave the way. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. With fire in their veins and distrust in their eyes, Randy and Wendy taking you for a ride. Clues left scattered like whispers in the wind. Every page they turn closer to the end. No stone unturned, no mystery safe. Through the chaos they pave the way. Watch them break it down, unveil the lies, under lurid skies where the danger hides. With fire in their veins and mistrust in their eyes, Randy and Wendy taking you for a ride. Late nights burn bright under the moon, answers buried deep, they'll find them soon. Guts and glory on a darkened stage, Randy and Wendy script the final page.
I love that song.
So, happy Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday, guys.
Schmat, a surprise live. Yeah, because there's a new trial and it's one
Randy
day
got a
behind.
new trial, y'all. She's all
Yeah.
excited.
I'm mystic. I am. Because when I started, looking at stuff, I was like, this is interesting. How is he pleading?
It's horrible. It's terrible. This off. I mean, I guess what crime isn't horrible and terrible, but this one is especially horrible and terrible. But that's what we do now.
That's what we do now. The more horrible and terrible, the quicker we are to cover it. Hey, Lori, say hey, Nana Patty.
I guess so.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I even asked Jim's advice. I'm like, do you think that we should start today and then be caught up for the tomorrow? And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, oh,
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't mind that. That's fine. I mean, this is a new trial, so I mean, I don't know if we're gonna. I mean, are you thinking we'll be live all day through all the testimony and stuff, or are we just gonna do recaps at night?
we could do recaps at night. That may be a lot easier.
I think that would be better. I don't know that
Yeah.
we're gonna want. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess we'll after today, maybe we can decide that. Like if we
Yeah.
really seem interested in it, we could stream the trial. But if not, we'll just do recaps at night.
Yeah. Yes. I'm working on getting my vitamins leveled out so I don't have the energy that I had. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So
maybe a
and-
good idea to just do recaps
Yeah.
at night.
and I had to order a machine that checks my glucose because it's too low.
What does that mean if it's too low?
Well, so you can die. Like it's really dangerous. I didn't know this.
Oh,
Because I don't know what it does, but but mine's bottoming out, and so if
how
you've
is
seen,
that like been a thing for a while or?
well, I think it has actually, and You know how sometimes I'll say I'm dizzy, I'm dizzy, I'm dizzy, and it doesn't feel like the Meniere's dizzy.
Yeah.
It was that. And where
Oh,
yeah, and the losing the train of thought, and which, I mean, that's got menopause, but also I get confused. All the time. I'm just like, "What? I don't know."
yeah,
I can hear something and then just forget that I heard it, and,
yeah.
come to find out it's all, you know, has to do
It's all
with
related to that.
mhm.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad. So, what are they giving you? Vitamins or something? Or
yeah, I have to take a extra strong B12.
okay,
If that don't work, I'll have to start getting shots.
okay.
And, as far as the glucose, they said,
B12. Isn't that what people take when they're losing weight?
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah, they get vitamin B12 shots.
I think that's for energy. It's for your natural energy. I don't know, honestly. I
Well,
don't
it
know,
sounds like if it's for glucose, I mean that does make sense because your sugar levels and stuff are really um
Alan.
something people watch when they're losing weight. So
Yeah.
I guess that does
So,
make sense.
yeah. So I don't, everything I do, I have to push myself. I didn't know why. I just thought, I told you I had them check my pancreas, and
Yeah.
then I had the other tests, and I've been having the same problem, being pre-diabetic for a while, and that is a symptom. That looks like I have diabetes. Keep orange juice around. B12 is for energy. Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I read up on it because I didn't when they told me, I was like, okay. And then I Googled it, mistake. And it's like, flash warning, death when you
Yeah.
sleep. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Don't Google shit. You can't Google stuff. It's terrible. They'll have you dead by morning.
Mhm. But
Awful.
the shots are the best.
Well, that's
Well,
good
see,
then.
I don't have
Have you
one.
noticed any kind of a difference yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well,
No,
hopefully.
everything is just push, push, push. But
Yeah.
and that's what, in Jim, he said, you just kind of walk around in a haze. I'm like, I know. Now we know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Now we know why.
Yeah. So,
Well.
and
Oh,
the machine that's coming, it said almost pain free.
oh, that's not good. I don't like the sound of that.
I don't either. Almost.
Right? How
No, not
almost?
that I wear. No, not one that I wear. I don't. Maybe it's not bad enough that I have to wear one. They just said it was really low, but they also had me fast. Before they. No, that was a different test. Never mind. Never mind. This getting older thing sucks. I'm just gonna tell you.
Well, that's one of the things we're hoping the B12 will fix.
Yeah, I'll be because
That
she
kind of stuff.
said for your bone health, we want you to exercise and you do this and this. I'm like, what? How you do that with no energy?
Bone health. Get out of here.
Bone health.
Bone health. All of a
Yeah.
sudden we're worried about my bones. Stop it.
Right. Okay. Like, I need
Ain't
you to
nobody
stop
worried
now,
about my
man.
bones.
And she tried to make me feel good because she's like, you're really tiny. I was like, bullshit. I'm tiny. So you have to do this and this and this. She's like, "Do you have resistance bands?" I said, "I sure do. They're wrapped up in my yoga mat. Never been opened, neither one of them."
They still got that new car smell.
They do. But, she said she meant tiny frame. I do have a small frame. I can just grow stuff on that frame, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause I guess she read my eyes like, "Don't bullshit a bullshitter."
Right. Bone
It's coming, I
health.
love it. No
Not fun
finger
on you.
sticks. I've seen those. Oh,
You've seen what?
man, sign me up. The monitors you wear that you don't have to stick yourself. They just monitor.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, good. It's about time. You put
Yeah,
a man on the moon, but people are still having to jab themselves. Like, that's crazy. We should have
now they make
come up
these
with
things and
something a
you
long
just
time ago.
you like scan it with your phone.
Oh, I love that. That's much
Mhm.
nicer.
So,
All
yeah,
right.
that's
So, what do you got for us, Randy? Tell us
I
about this
have.
trial that we're so excited about.
So first, we will go over the backstory, um, which I need to link this channel. Copy. Hold on, let me do that right quick.
Yeah, I definitely need the backstory. I find. Do you guys feel the same that you get more? I don't know if excited is the word, but more interested maybe in a case when we cover the backstory first, or is that just me? It's totally fine if that's just me. But I'm just curious if anyone else feels the same.
Well, I do. I mean, kind of going into it blind. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's just nice to know, like, kind of get an idea of what it is. At least for me, anyway. Especially when we're covering like multiple cases. Doing good, Marie. How are you, hon?
Good to see you.
Yeah, Shamat, you like the backstory too? Yeah, I definitely do.
So here it is, and we'll be
All
starting
right.
it now. And I'm gonna link this while I'm.
The weekend was intended to be a romantic getaway to celebrate their anniversary. But very quickly, those plans would derail, and the consequences to the weekend's twist and disturbing events would be cataclysmic.
This is their first year anniversary.
My name is Adrian, and welcome back to another video by Coffeehouse Crime. Gabby's disappearance was a tragic story that gripped the headlines of most of the Western world. And while the case dominated the media, there were several other disappearances happening at that very same time that totally slipped under the radar. And I'm here today to share one of them with you. By the way, I post solved, unsolved, and strange cases here on
Because this happened, I think, about the same time Gabby Petito. So this one just went like it didn't go viral.
Yeah,
I
it didn't
guess.
get a lot of
a
attention,
weekly
I guess, because
basis.
everybody was.
So if that sounds like your kind of thing, please consider subscribing to Coffeehouse
No, it didn't because I had never heard of it, and I usually hear a tidbit about something.
Yeah.
Crime. But for now, pull up a seat, grab a coffee, and sit back. This is the case of Emily Ferlazzo. Today's video begins in the state of New Hampshire. With a little over 1.3 million residents calling this place home, New Hampshire is one of the least populous states in America. And by size, it's one of the smallest too. Defined by its quaint towns, colourful trees, and large expanses of wilderness, you will find plenty of natural beauty here. And its persistence in red brick architecture brings a warm setting to its urban areas. Nestled deep in the middle of New Hampshire lies a small town called Plymouth. A town which, in 1999, became the birthplace to Emily Schwartz. Emily was born on the 25th of July, 1999, to her father Randy and mother Adrienne, and she was described to be bright and sparkly. Growing through her younger years, Emily attended Concord High School in New Hampshire and participated in cross-country, a hobby that she was very passionate about. Unfortunately, Emily's parents would eventually split up, and although they did, Emily kept in regular contact with them both. She carried on living with her mother Adrienne and her stepfather David. And moving into adulthood, Emily would eventually earn her accreditation as a licensed nursing assistant, formally completing the program in 2019. Emily was a very conscientious young woman. She found joy in caring for other people, and this was precisely why she embarked on her journey to become an LNA. An interim achievement before she planned to embark on her lifelong ambition to become a cosmetologist. Self-confidence is a very fragile thing, and wanting to work in cosmetology, Emily knew this. She wanted to make others feel good about themselves, something even she herself struggled with every now and then. It was in the early months of 2020 that Emily would meet an older man named Joseph Ferlazzo. And at the age of 40, he was twice her age. But that didn't necessarily matter to her.
Gotta watch
Emily
out
would
for that.
eventually fall in love with Joseph, and to her, he was the love of her life. He was a licensed tattoo artist in a nearby parlor, working in New Hampshire and the neighboring state of Vermont. One thing led to another between the two, and by the 12th of October that very same year, Emily Schwartz had officially become Emily Ferlazzo, marrying Joseph and becoming a pack of 3 along with their dog Remington, affectionately nicknamed Remy. With a license in nursing in the bag and a boyfriend who was now a husband, life for Emily Ferlazzo was pretty good, and for the first several months of their marriage, things appeared to be going moderately well too. I mean, granted, Emily's father's side of the family did not get much of an opportunity to meet Joseph. Plans either seemed to stall or be cancelled. Nevertheless, they only met Joseph once in their first year, and their encounter seemed to be a little strange. The family claimed that something didn't quite click with him in the first instance that they met. And while the Schwartz family may have been hands-off, it seemed that perhaps Joseph was hands-on. Both scratches and bruises were noticed on Emily by her mother and her friends, but she would always shrug those comments to the side.
Yeah.
By autumn of the next year, in October 2021, the couple were fast approaching their 1-year anniversary. They had also converted a Chevrolet Express bus into a fully mobile camper van. And with their very own home now on wheels, and a special anniversary coming up, they decided to celebrate by taking to the hills of Vermont for some peace and tranquility. The pair left New Hampshire on the 15th of October 2021, heading west into Vermont until they eventually found themselves.
And I can comfortably say that when I was telling Jim about this, he said, do you know how far that is? I'm like, I'm not trying to go, Jim. We're just trying to watch it on YouTube.
Jim's already prepared. He knows.
I'm aware that it snows a lot there, by the way.
Yes, and lots of snow in Vermont. Yes.
Yes.
When did all this happen?
At an Airbnb in Bolton, a small town in the
It
western
happened
foothills of
in 2021.
Okay. And we're just now going to trial.
Yes.
Okay.
the Green Mountains. The Airbnb just a stone's throw away from Bolton Valley Resort. But just the very next morning, their plans would take a turn for the worse. In what would be Joseph's own words, the two fell into an argument. An argument that became so heated that Emily demanded Joseph to stop the camper van. And after doing so, she embarked out of the vehicle before walking alone down Route 2. Allegedly, Joseph then headed over to a nearby convenience store in Bolton for snacks, but by the time he returned to the site where he let Emily go, she was nowhere to be found. Her social media remained silent and inactive too. Despite family and friends messaging her back at home, she never responded to any of them. Joseph scanned the immediate area, but nothing was found. And Emily never responded to any of her messages either. It seemed that Emily had well and truly vanished. A couple more days would pass.
This is so well done.
And on Monday, the
awesome.
18th of October, Joseph would return home to New Hampshire. He would, however, come back alone. And it didn't take long for Emily's parents, who were already worried, to notice that she was mysteriously absent. It was.
See,
he didn't tell them?
Mm-mm.
He didn't tell them that she was missing?
No.
He just let them find out?
It was about the same as the Gabby Petito. He just shows back up. Yeah.
Without her.
It was in this moment that Joseph.
Yes.
Oh boy.
See, and one of my dreams is for me and Jim to have like a conversion van or something like that and travel. But I'm starting to second guess myself.
I think you and Jim are pretty safe. I think if he was going to kill you, he would have done it by now.
I think that's true. Pretty sure.
Informed her mother and stepfather of the argument that the two had. A story that both parents didn't buy. Emily's disappearance was a complete shock to her family, And although they'd noticed slight changes to her personality in the last year or so, this was totally out of character for her to just get up and head out into the wilderness all alone. And Joseph seemed to be pretty uneasy too. Even stranger, but Joseph had returned home with an entirely different vehicle. Their beloved camper van that they'd spent many months on converting and working on together was now replaced with a Jeep Wrangler. And no one could understand why. As Monday's daylight faded, both anxiety and concerns over Emily's whereabouts heightened. The possibilities of her simply getting lost or having no phone signal on her were quickly fading away by the second. All in the meanwhile, the more extreme possibilities that no one wanted to address were silently manifesting in the background. Unsure of what to do, Emily's family filed a missing persons report to the police that very same evening. A report that would shift police investigations very quickly into gear.
She's a baby, 22.
Searches around the surrounding area in which she disappeared began to take place. But due to the lack of media coverage, search parties were small.
Breaking news this morning, police are trying to track down a missing New Hampshire woman who was last seen in Bolton.
Troopers say 22-year-old Emily Ferlazzo had been staying at an Airbnb with her husband. They say on Saturday she got out of a car she was riding in and started walking along Route 2.
Investigators say she was last seen after an argument with her husband. Troopers say when her husband went to a store close by to pick her up, she was nowhere to be found.
Worries over her safety continued to grow through the night. And by midday of Tuesday, police announced that they were now looking for Joseph Ferlazzo, as they had been unable to locate or communicate with him in the most recent 24 hours. And the reasoning for why they wanted to speak to him was very disturbing. It was just that night before that police received a phone call from another man who claimed to be Joseph's friend. And in the middle of the night, he had called 911 straight after kicking Joseph out of his car. Allegedly, Joseph had confessed to killing his own wife. And he had also told him the location of the camper van and where they could find Emily.
Oh boy.
Soon after
Yeah. This is... Hold on tight, y'all.
that, police would find the van on a property on Meadowbrook Lane, located in St. Albans town. And a police officer, who had heard of the reports and kept a keen remembrance on Joseph's face, found him at a nearby convenience store later that afternoon. Technically, police could not search the van as they had no legal search warrant. And as for Joseph, they had no evidence to arrest him either. But after being voluntarily requested by police to head on down to the local barracks, Joseph fortunately agreed. And that is where he came clean with the whole story. While under interrogation, Joseph finally gave up his most prominent secret. His wife wasn't missing, and Spencer wasn't lying. Joseph had killed Emily in the early hours of Saturday, the 16th of October.
1 year.
Following this information, police would finally obtain a search warrant for the Chevrolet Express van. And
That was their
once inside,
one-year wedding anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
What
Well,
do
I
you
don't
mean
know
1
if
year?
that... What that was... This trip was for their 1 year wedding anniversary. Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
they would uncover a very somber and disturbing scene. Located in the bathroom, they would find 8 garbage bags, one of which was opened to reveal a severed human leg with a missing foot.
Sorry, y'all.
The other 7 bags remained unopened.
Oh my god.
But further searches later would reveal the rest of a human body. Joseph would also reveal to police what specifically happened to him and his wife. They had argued early in the Saturday morning, and after Emily laid down on the bed to cool off, Joseph grabbed his Glock handgun from inside the vehicle, proceeded to jump on top of her, and shot her twice in the head at point-blank range. Shortly after, he experienced a panic attack before placing a bag over her head and placing her body in the bathroom. Joseph then travelled 8 miles to Waterbury, where he then had breakfast with his sister and her boyfriend, before driving the van and Emily's body to the plot of land where she was found. And approximately 15 hours later, he dismembered his wife's body with the use of a handsaw, cutting her feet, legs, arms, and head from her body. He then placed her remains inside garbage bags in the van's bathroom. And after completing these incomprehensible actions, Joseph then decided to return home to New Hampshire alone, back to Emily's family, leaving her body to slowly decay for several days. The handsaw and
my
handgun
God.
were both found in the van by police.
We start with breaking news tonight. A woman reported
Why,
missing has
though?
been
Why?
found dead, and her husband tells state.
He's gonna say he feared for his life.
Oh, stop it.
Yep. She threatened him and he feared for his life.
Wow. I hate that answer.
Yeah, me too.
Police that he did it.
Well, Brian, Alice, Joseph Ferlazzo was recognized at a Maple Fields convenience store earlier today by a state police detective, and that detective bringing him here to the St. Albans barracks just minutes away from that store, where he eventually confessed to killing his 22-year-old wife, Emily. Now, state police say that once they brought Joseph in for questioning, he admitted to killing Emily inside the camper early Saturday morning, which state police searched here tonight at the barracks.
The information he provided was that he had killed his wife, Emily. He said that he had done so in the town of Bolton in the early Saturday morning hours.
Well, her body will be brought to the chief medical examiner's office in Burlington for an autopsy tomorrow to determine the cause and manner of death and to confirm her identity. And Joseph Ferlazzo is still here in St. Albans, and police say that he is expected to be charged with first-degree murder by the end of the night, and his arraignment will be tomorrow in Burlington.
Joseph, who, after revealing these harrowing details, was then jailed at the Northwest State Correctional Facility in St. Alban town. He was virtually arraigned and charged the very next day after his confession, where he was acquitted of first-degree murder. And, big surprise, he pleaded not guilty.
Yeah.
Acquitted? What does he mean, acquitted of first-degree murder?
Joseph is now being held without bail at the North.
He must have said the wrong word.
He must have, right? Because he's not been acquitted.
No, he's not.
Oh, indicted, maybe, is what he meant to say.
I bet he did. I bet that's exactly
West State Correctional Facility in St. Albans until an evidentiary hearing takes place in the coming weeks or months. And with his confession, it's highly unlikely that he will ever set foot outside as a free man again. The judge commenting that the state police affidavit provides a great weight of evidence. He is due back in court on November the 8th. It actually seems that this may just be the start of a very long legal process for Joseph, as investigators in Pennsylvania are now looking for a possible connection to the 2009 murder of his very own stepmother. Young Helene Ferlazzo was stabbed to death at her home in Upper Bend Township in October of 2009. And although her husband, Joseph Ferlazzo Sr., was questioned by police, he was cleared of being a suspect very early on. And the case remains open and unsolved to this date. It's also kind of strange to learn that Joseph had multiple Facebook profiles. One of them including a profile picture with his arm around another woman not even 11 months prior to his marriage. And on the note of Facebook profiles, one upsetting note to this case is the final public post made by Emily before her death. Although it's a post that was made several months before her death, Emily shared her love to her husband, Joseph. And coincidentally, the one comment left on this picture is made by the man who would rightfully turn this monster in to police. I can imagine that, from one killer to another, Joseph was kind of hoping that Brian Laundrie would take all of the spotlight this autumn. Sorry, Joe. In her obituary, Emily's family spoke with their hearts and their humor, as they described her as one to bring great joy to her family. She was a beautiful, aspiring singer, and American Idol does not know what they missed. Her infectious personality was uncontainable. It's clear to see that Emily was someone who had a lot of love and nurture in her nature. She was a nurse and wanted to become a cosmetologist to help people with their confidence. She placed her trust in those that she loved. And with great sadness, the one that she placed it in most would abuse it and abuse her. Emily's death is tragically just one of many homicides through domestic violence. And in the United States alone, domestic violence has risen by 8.1% in the last year, which is a very concerning figure. If you find yourself becoming a victim to domestic violence, please take your safety seriously and seek help sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for watching another video today by Coffee House Crime, and for joining me in another case of true crime. Initially, this case was intended to only be one part of a longer video addressing multiple cases which slipped under the radar during the time of Gabby's disappearance. However, this one was too detailed and shocking to condense down into 5 minutes. What do you think about the case of Emily Ferlazzo? And what do you think about Joseph? All I can say is that he was a real piece of work. And also, please share your thoughts if you'd like to hear more underreported cases too. Tragically, they are in abundance. That's all I have for today, folks, but with this video being shorter than usual, my next one will be out on Monday. Have a great weekend, and once it's over, I'll be right here behind this camera waiting for you in the next one. Until that moment arrives though, look after each other. Goodbye.
He's
a
great,
dolly.
and
Like that.
yes, and his channel is linked in the description box below.
Oh, what a sad story, though. Gosh. You know, it a little, maybe this is going to sound ridiculous, but I've never known anything good to come from people who have multiple Facebooks. There's never a good reason, it seems. It's always some bad stuff. I mean, I guess maybe one for business, if you have like a business one or something, but multiple like social profiles, I don't like it.
Right.
It's shady about that. I can't believe this. It's so sad.
I know, and it's crazy how one case gets so much
Yes,
attention.
so much attention.
Yeah.
Gabby, this happened around the same time as Gabby Petito. And as everybody knows, the whole place, at least around here, was lit up with Gabby Petito, and nobody had heard of this girl. So why do you think that happens? Why do some cases get more traction than others?
I don't
What's that-
know.
How does that happen?
It's sad. Sad. I don't know. I don't know how some, maybe the families are more vocal and some of it gets picked up like Gabby Petito did all over YouTube.
Well, and
'Cause
I
you-
wonder if because this one he confessed early on, it wasn't as much of a trying to solve the case like it was with Gabby. Although, did he confess, Brian?
No, not, he confessed in his suicide letter.
Right, but that didn't happen right away, right?
No,
Or did it?
no. He came home, hid in his parents' house, and gave no statements.
Gotcha.
And
So
then
maybe that's
someone,
why it got a little more, attention, because people were still trying to figure out what happened versus this guy who just, who confessed. So
Yeah.
it wasn't so much a whodunit anymore or whatever. It was, I don't know. Obviously, I can only guess. I don't know why, but
and like they said, that, while Gabby Petito's search party was huge, her search party was very small. So I don't know.
that's true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting though. It's sad. I can't imagine the family. It's not like they, don't want Gabby's case to be solved, but they're sitting there with their own missing little girl, and nobody's even paying attention to them. That's got to be rough.
Gotta be.
Okay, so the trial has started then?
Yes, and I always, love to, especially the opening statements. But I don't know that this will be a long trial because there's already been people called to the stand. Hey, JC Ray. And I think the guy that he shot that called 911 on him, the one that wrote yay on his Facebook post,
Yeah.
has already testified.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Well,
probably
let's
going to
watch
be a
it. Bring
fast
it on.
trial.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna watch day one, right? Or part, at least the opening statements.
At least, and we can fast forward it through some to get to some of the testimony.
Okay, sounds good.
And somehow Law & Crime didn't get the. I don't know what she said at first. Let me do closed captions.
And you'll hear Mr. Ferlazzo admit to cutting up Emily's body with a saw, putting it in garbage bags, and how he intended to bring her body into the woods.
Can y'all hear
and
that?
discard it.
Yeah, it's low. I'll turn myself up.
You'll hear how he greets his sister on Saturday morning after killing Emily with a text and says, "I just made some coffee. I can bring you some." He takes a shower at her Airbnb. They go to breakfast. When his sister asks where Emily is, he says she's sleeping.
Remember,
Wow.
at this point, yeah, he's trying to hide it.
They have breakfast. He eats. He drinks a mimosa. They make plans to go to St. Albans, where another friend of his lives. He gives his sister a tattoo. They go out to dinner that night in St. Albans.
And he's just normal. Everything's fine.
Brunch here in Burlington.
Oh,
Yeah.
freaky.
They hang out.
That's so freaky.
He goes back to his friend's house in St. Albans.
Yeah.
Hangs out at a bonfire. You will hear testimony from an individual who was at that bonfire, an off-duty police officer, who will say that Mr. Ferlazzo was acting like a normal person and taking hits off a marijuana bomb at the bonfire.
Wow.
How do you act normal?
During that bonfire, he doesn't
I
say
don't know.
anything to any of his friends or this off-duty police officer about what happened, or that he felt he had no other option but to kill Emily, or that he made a horrible mistake. The evidence will show that
You know, it's like he was thinking, I'm not going to let a little murder spoil my vacation.
I mean, listen, even if he just the act of cutting her up has to be
Right.
traumatizing as
I would
hell.
agree.
Did you hear me?
Huh. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Some-
Like, don't you think that has to be traumatizing as hell? Just that you even cut her up? Like, just doing that has got to mess with you. But nope.
Nope, not him. Went to a party.
Totally normal day. Not a problem. That
Be
is
okay. I've heard that actually.
he began executing his plan to
I don't
get
know if
rid
it's
of
true.
Emily's body. He cuts her up using a saw. He puts her body in trash bags.
Ugh.
The evidence will show that in order to bring those trash bags into the woods to discard them, he needed to go to New Hampshire and get his Jeep.
wow.
He drove his motorcycle that was
Mhm.
stored at his friend's house in St. Albans 3 hours to his in-laws' house in New Hampshire where his Jeep was. When they ask him, "Where's Emily?" he says, "We got into a fight and she left on Saturday."
Wow.
Doesn't know where she is. His in-laws then report Emily missing. When the police call to speak to Mr. Ferlazzo about his missing wife, Mr. Ferlazzo tells the trooper the made-up story about how Emily went missing on Saturday, somewhere in Bolton. And the police ask him where his van is. Mr. Ferlazzo lies to the police and tells them that the van's not running well and that it is at an auto shop. He tells them that that auto shop is in Virgins. The evidence will show that this is when Mr. Ferlazzo's cover-up starts unraveling. The evidence will show that before Mr. Ferlazzo left his in-laws' home in St. Albans, they convinced him to turn on location sharing services on his phone. He started driving from New Hampshire back to Vermont around 8:15 on Monday night. On the way, he texts a friend who lives in Enosburg and says that he's going to be showing up at his house on Monday night at 11:20. While Mr. Ferlazzo is driving from New Hampshire to Vermont, police learn that the van is not in Virgins,
There he is.
and they locate the van in St. Albans. And they post a couple of troopers outside of the van. Mr. Ferlazzo
Wow.
eventually arrives at his friend's house in Enosburg. They hop in his friend's car because Mr. Ferlazzo has said, I need a ride to go get my van. As they're driving and getting close to where the van is parked at his friend's house in St. Albans, they start to see troopers. Mr. Ferlazzo tells his friend to turn around. His friend confronts him about what's going on, asking him
I wonder if that's his
those troopers are
attorney.
for him. Mr.
So
Ferlazzo
lady sitting right there.
tells his
Yeah.
friend the police are looking for Emily, that she's
How in the
van,
world could she
that she's
represent
not alive,
him?
and that
I don't know, but she kind of looks like she needs a Vivarin.
when his friend attempts to kick him out of his car, Mr. Ferlazzo starts panicking, acting like he's going to jump out of the car, asks his friend to shoot him, and says he can't go to prison.
Wow.
His friend calls 911 as Mr. Ferlazzo walks off into the woods.
Okay, I thought he shot his friend.
You'll hear about how after that 911 call, the police start looking for Mr. Ferlazzo. And you'll hear that about 14 hours later, a detective from the Vermont State Police was at the Maple Fields in St. Albans. You'll hear about her seeing Mr. Ferlazzo getting a drink out of the cooler at the Maple Fields. And you'll hear about Mr. Ferlazzo being approached by the troopers, and that trooper will describe that Mr. Ferlazzo appeared deflated and looked like he had given up. She brought him back to the station, and he sat down with detectives for an interview. 42 seconds into the interview, he confesses to shooting Emily. You
Wow.
will hear that confession,
Yeah.
and you will see how detailed, thoughtful, and thorough his conversation is. He has time to think about what he's going to say. He's given numerous breaks. He has time to contemplate. He has time to change his story or correct inaccuracies. At no point during his statement will you ever hear him say that he thought Emily was going to kill him, hurt him, or that she posed any threat to him. In fact, at numerous points during his statement, you will hear him talk about how angry he was with her and how he wanted to stop her and how he made a decision.
Jeez.
As you're taking in all of the evidence over the next couple of days, I want you to pay close attention to what you hear and also what you don't hear. You won't hear or see any evidence that indicates that this was a lawful or justified killing. You won't see any evidence that indicates that Emily posed a threat to him.
The nerve of her to
You
look
won't
at her
see
watch
any
and pretend to
evidence
be
that indicates
bored
that Mr. Ferlazzo
when someone's daughter was not only murdered but chopped up. Did you see her look at her watch?
I did not, but I believe you. And that would reminds me of the one that we also just watched, where that attorney with Jamie, the drunk driver who killed Sam. He also during the I think it was during the husband's impact statement. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember which one exactly. He also looked at his watch, and I was instantly enraged. Like the absolute nerve of you. What, you got somewhere to be? You bored, sir?
Right.
Yeah, it was gross.
Shimmy.
make decisions, couldn't think straight, couldn't form intent to kill. In fact, you'll hear the opposite. After all the evidence is presented, Judge Pack will read you the law. He'll read instructions on the essential elements of the offense and provide definitions of those legal terms. You will be asked to decide whether the state has met its burden of proving these essential elements.
It does,
beyond
don't it?
reasonable doubt. And we are confident
There's the judge. There's
that
the
we can
reporter.
and will meet that burden. The state will meet its burden and show beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Ferlazzo was the person who committed this offense.
Mm-hmm.
That Mr. Ferlazzo caused the death of his wife, Emily Ferlazzo. That Mr. Ferlazzo's killing of Emily was unlawful, meaning there was no legal justification for it. That he intended to kill Emily, meaning it wasn't a mistake, it wasn't an accident. That he acted willfully, that he acted deliberately, and that he acted with premeditation. And we believe that this evidence will prove, well, beyond a reasonable doubt to every single one of you serving on this jury, that Mr. Ferlazzo is guilty of the unlawful, intentional, willful, deliberate, and premeditated killing of Emily. And we will be asking you to return a verdict of guilty. Thank you.
What's he facing?
I don't know yet.
Ms. Jantz, do you wish to make an opening?
Yes, Judge, I do. Thank you.
I already hate her.
Yep.
How can you even look at him, let alone defend him?
Right. Well, that little tiny woman was gonna what? Beat you up.
That's it. You're dead. That's it. You're dead. That's what Joseph Ferlazzo now remembers, hearing Emily say to him, and then seeing her start to pull
Get to the microphone.
from under her pillow, because these are people who slept with their guns under their pillows. He was afraid for his life, believed she was going to shoot and kill him.
Sure.
Wow.
That's it. You're dead, she said to him. And he shot her twice in the head. This weekend, prior to this weekend, they had been living with her parents in New Hampshire for about a month.
You can't,
You can't hear me.
yeah.
I apologize.
if you want to put the,
I'll just move this up.
Yeah.
They've been refitting a camper to turn it into a residence. They actually had a name for it, Roaming Rosie. You'll hear him testify. And it was something they planned to
Never
go
be okay.
cross country up and down the East Coast. This weekend was a trip to Vermont to celebrate their 1-year anniversary and to spend time with his sister.
Funny how he was afraid for his life, so he legally was able to shoot her in the head twice, but still tried to hide the crime and chop her body up.
Right.
Explain that,
I mean,
ma'am.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Why did he do that? Let me guess. He panicked.
And then he was so bothered by what happened, he decided to go to a couple of parties and do a tattoo. Okay.
Jesus. God.
Sister Nikki, who he hadn't seen in years. His sister rented an Airbnb in Bolton, and they parked their camper in the parking lot of the Airbnb in Bolton. The drive up here from New Hampshire was great. They were both in a good mood. Mr. Ferlazzo, Joseph, was looking forward to
Get to the
spending
microphone.
time with his sister, and Emily seemed to be in a good mood. He will tell you, the minute they parked, it was like a switch flipped, and she started complaining. F this, F you, F your family. I don't want to be here. I'm going to destroy your life. And that just went on and on and on. That was
Okay.
in the afternoon, I believe, on Friday the 16th. Mr. Ferlazzo
Wow.
did contact his sister. They made arrangements to meet. He did meet with his sister and her boyfriend. Emily was quiet. And when they got back to the camper from seeing his sister, she started again. He put on
Oh,
some
how weird. How
candles.
weird that nobody
He lit
saw it
some
except for him.
candles, because
Right.
there was,
And what else is
Hate when
weird?
that happens.
Yeah. And I hate it when she goes
Hate
around
when
with
you're with
bruises and
Right.
scratch
You're with,
marks.
right. You're with witnesses and family members all day. Nobody saw anything out of the ordinary until they left, of course.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
You victim, you.
they wanted to
Crybaby
have
murderer.
candlelight. She didn't like it. Put those candles out. He did.
Ma'am, stop
She
it.
grabbed the big
Right.
Yankee candle and started hitting him with it. Head, neck, shoulders, torso.
Shut up.
Mm-mm.
He took the candle from her, but that didn't stop her.
No. This is how you know that's a lie. Because if anybody here, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people have had a Yankee Candle. If you get hit in the head with a big Yankee Candle several times, she's beating him in the head with a Yankee Candle.
Right.
You're not going hey, steady.
You're gonna have marks, right? Wouldn't you have marks?
You're definitely going to have marks, and you're probably going to be like shook because they're big.
Yeah.
Or any kind of big jarred
Yeah, that's-
candle. It doesn't have to be Yankee Candle, but
Yankee
come
candles are
on.
big, strong. You're not. Yeah. Shut up, lady. That's ridiculous. Tell me you don't believe that. Stupid.
Punching him.
And, I think if I walked in a camper and someone had several candles lit, I'd be like, you may want to blow those out. You're about to burn us down. Yeah.
Well, maybe he was planning a romantic evening or something.
And if you have one Yankee Candle going in a small space like that, especially, because a good Yankee Candle, not the Walmart ones, those suck. The good Yankee Candles, you can smell them throughout your whole house. So imagine one of those lit in a camper.
Yeah.
But not this guy. He lights several candles. Which shouldn't be funny.
Shower me often.
Ugh.
All over his body. He will tell you, he grabbed her arms and say, hey, you stay in your space, I'll stay in mine. This is not acceptable.
He said that.
And he took his
This
dog
is not
Remy out
acceptable,
for a
he
walk.
said.
He came back, she was lying down in bed. And you will see pictures of their camper. It's really small. The way the bed is arranged is that it's flush against the back of the camper. His side of the bed was against the back of the camper. Her side was closer to the inside of the camper. In order to get into his side of the bed, he had to climb across her. So he comes back in, and she's still grumbling and mumbling, and I don't want to do this, F you all over the place. And he
Lady,
starts
does that make any
climbing
sense?
across her to get into bed.
I can't believe you're saying this.
So she's lying on her stomach, face to the left.
I wonder
right arm under her
if she's
pillow.
just doing her job or if she believes him. That's what I want to know.
How can you? This is the most dumb story I've ever heard. This
He
makes no
said-
sense. We don't even know what she's mad at.
This man who is left exactly Florida gray, that's what I said. He's saying that he said after she beat the snot out of him with candles, he said, I'm going to go to my space, you go to your space, because this is unacceptable.
Right. Because that's how fights go.
Right.
That sounds absolutely insane. This sounds absolutely stupid and ridiculous. I can't believe that she's saying any of this with a straight face.
Me either. And with such conviction, she is. She's dedicated.
Yeah, really acting
Look,
like this is real.
Judge back there having to hide his mouth.
Oh,
She
man.
takes her elbow and smashes it into his groin.
Oh, boy.
Sure.
She does say
Sure,
something
she
like,
did.
what the fuck? Smashes her elbow into his groin. Picks up the pillow and throws it on her head. That's when she says, that's it, you're dead. Starts to raise up, starts to pull.
Oh, nothing says I'm going to really take you out of life like a pillow fight.
I mean, why? What is she even mad at? Do we even know? We have nothing.
Candles.
Nothing but your ridiculous story that makes no sense at all. How on earth? What is she supposedly mad at? Nobody has any idea. She's
Nobody
just
knows.
mad.
Mm-hmm.
She's just gonna kill him for no reason because she's that
Right.
mad. We don't know why.
Never before has she tried to do that. And as a matter of
Right.
fact, She was the one with the bruises and the scratches.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Pull
Oh.
out the gun. He, of course, has his gun in his hand. That's what these two people did. They believed they needed to sleep with their guns for self-protection. He already had his Glock in.
Alan, I'm a little worried about that statement. And if you need an advocate, call me.
What did Alan say?
He gets punched in the balls at least once a week at work.
Oh, wow.
That's not okay, Alan.
Sounds like you could use some representation, Alan. If you need some help, buddy, you let us know, okay? We got
Yes.
you. Nobody should
Scott
be
said,
touching your
Alan,
no-no place.
stay brave and strong.
That's right. Nobody should be touching your no-no place without your permission,
That's
sir.
right.
Don't you let them.
Oh, okay, Alan. Understood completely then.
Oh,
Yeah.
been there, Alan. I've been there,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, me too. I thought he meant like, because in school, the boys went around, they did this thing for a while where they would walk down the hall and flick each other. And somebody would be like puking in the hall from it. And I'm like, why would y'all do this?
Right. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Oh, that's funny.
I don't know how bad it hurts, but it must be pretty painful because dang.
He saw her hand start to move out from under the pillow,
Sure.
and he shot her twice.
Wow.
And killed her.
Liar.
That's not in dispute.
No, that's not in dispute. What's it? Let me ask you this, ma'am, while we're at it. Why was his gun already pulled out and cocked?
Right.
I'm just asking. Yeah.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
It's a little suspect, don't you think?
We still don't know, and we have no idea why she's, supposedly so angry that she's going to kill him. Have no idea. He did absolutely nothing.
Mm-mm.
I just don't buy it.
But he saw her arm move and he went ahead and said, "Pow." Okay.
That's it. Yeah, he saw her arm move. That was enough for him. Terrified for his life. Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm still so afraid that I'm going to dismember her.
Jesus.
But before I do that, I'm going to have to go to her parents' house and get garbage bags.
Oy.
Yeah.
What happened is not in dispute. It's why it happened. After he shot her, he really was in a state of panic and shock.
Uh-huh.
I called it.
He
I
will
knew
tell
he
you
was
he
so
loved his
panicked.
wife. This is hardly something that on the weekend they were celebrating their anniversary he planned or intended or wanted. He did not want this. You will hear how he sat by her bedside, just in panic and not knowing what to do. He did go to, just as the state told you, he went to meet his sister for breakfast. He carried on for the rest of the weekend as normally as he could. And he did a pretty good job of it in that he lied repeatedly, and he will admit that. He lied to everyone he came in contact with about what happened to Emily. His explanations are varied. He says,
Lied.
I was sleep deprived,
Mhm.
I was intoxicated, I was in shock. He will tell you that even
They're
now,
lies.
his memory of what happened is fragmented, coming
Oh,
to him in
brother.
bits and pieces.
Okay,
It
Jody
is
Arias.
true
Yeah.
that he told the police nothing about what I've just described to you.
Is it because he forgot?
Wow.
When they asked him where his wife was, oh, she took off walking.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
He knew enough to make up a story.
Right.
He knew enough to, to cover it up, which indicates that he knew what he did was wrong.
Ay, ay, ay.
Good
That-
grief.
It was weeks later that it began coming back to him in the form of nightmares. that he could see her pulling the gun out to shoot him.
Oh,
Wow.
As fine
but she didn't pull the gun out, ma'am. He saw her move her arm from under the pillow. She didn't pull her gun out. He had his ready. He had one in the chamber ready to go. Explain that. Explain it. But you can't.
There's a fact, we'll have to decide what you think is true and what isn't true.
I'll tell you what I don't think is true, that two people in the same bed sleep both with guns under their pillows.
Right?
There's that.
That sounds really not good.
Yeah.
Something needs to change.
Right. We need to check the crime rate where this happened, because why would you
Right.
both need?
That's
Hey, Stadius.
that's really excessive.
There's not much that's in dispute about what happened. He
I
will
think there
explain
is.
to you the reasons for the stab wounds and the dismemberment.
Yeah, do that too, because
But the
she was
truth
also
is
stabbed.
that he himself he's trying to put all the pieces together. And what he knows for sure is that he shot her in self-defense because he believed at the time that she was going to kill him. And it will be up
Shut
to
up.
you
How are you even
to
saying
make
this
sure
with
I
a
didn't
straight
shoot
face?
him.
I'm gonna drive to Vermont, ain't I? I'm gonna do like that old timey people do and get chains put on my tires. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to pull his hair.
Ask you to find not guilty.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yep. Leave up to you to decide what you believe is true and what isn't true. Is he just making up a story now
Yes.
to get away with it?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
is there more to the story than what
This should not be funny, but don't bring a Yankee Candle to a gunfight.
I don't I don't know how she's saying any of this with a straight face. I'm truly
sorry, y'all.
on
I just oh man. Don't
once you've heard all the evidence, including hearing from Mr. Ferlazzo about what happened, that you will believe Joseph and acquit him of the charge of first-degree murder. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James.
pathetic.
Is the state
Wash.
ready with its first witness?
We are, Judge. We just need to get her.
Yep. So I think we were going to take a 5-minute break here.
All right, let's get
Don't
to the
usually take breaks this quickly, but since the first witness.
what is she over? Is she high-fiving people? Nailed it.
Just like Sarah Boone thought after her statement. Nailed it.
Yes.
Oops, I did such a good job. I got to say all the words I wanted to say.
Please be seated. We'll resume the matter now of State versus Joseph Ferlazzo.
Man, I hope they start
So is
speaking
the state
up.
ready to call its first witness.
We are, Judge.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you. The state calls Nicole Ferlazzo.
Nicole Ferlazzo. That sounds like she's related to him.
Yeah, that's his sister, maybe? That's who we went to breakfast with that day?
Sounds like. They need to speak
Is
up.
that what this is?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Oh, she's crying. She's crying already.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I have you state your name, please?
Sure. Oh, Miss Nicole Ferlazzo.
Oh, bless her.
Ms. Ferlazzo, how do you prefer that I address you during our discussion this morning?
In a microphone.
I'm Miss Nikki.
Nikki, do you live in Vermont?
No, I do not.
In October
I thought she said
2021, were you living
I did too.
in Vermont?
I'm a snaky.
No.
Is that what you said?
I thought she said sneaky. Yeah, I thought she
I
said
thought
sneaky, like she wants to be addressed as sneaky. And I thought, what a weird name. Why would you want to be addressed as that?
I thought she said
That's
snaky.
not what she said.
I'm a snaky.
Snaky, even worse.
Do you know?
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not what she meant.
Yes.
How do you know that person?
He's my brother.
Is he an older or younger brother?
Older brother.
Oh, bless
So you've
her.
known
Yeah.
Mr. Ferlazzo your entire life.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some questions about October of 2021. Did you come to Vermont in October of 2021?
Yes.
What was the occasion?
It was just like, like a fall vacation for like my ex-boyfriend's birthday.
Okay. Ms. Ferlazzo, I'm going to pause for just a minute. It appears that you are having a difficult time. Is it, I'm just going to ask you, do you want to be doing this today?
Oh,
Are you here voluntarily?
no, I have to.
I'm going to try to get through these questions with you, okay?
Okay.
So you said that you came to Vermont for a vacation with your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Where did you stay?
I stayed at an Airbnb on Bear Run,
And do you remember what town that was in?
Bolton.
When did you arrive at the condo, Airbnb?
It was, I believe, it was like, I think it was Thursday morning, Friday, kind of, because we left Thursday, because my ex-boyfriend Ariel, his birthday was Thursday, and we drove there Thursday, and we arrived, I believe, on Friday.
Okay. And how long did you plan on staying?
Until Sunday.
When you planned your trip to Vermont, did you know that Joseph was going to be in Vermont that weekend too?
Yes.
And have the two of you been communicating about your plans for the weekend?
Yeah.
How were you guys communicating?
Just via text.
I'm sorry.
Some questions.
Is it just me? Does she seem to be overacting? Is it just me? Hey, Anna. Hey, Cassandra. Good to see you.
I don't know. So far, I believe her.
Okay, I don't. But
all right. Well, let's just see what she has to say first.
I'm
she doesn't even
just
say
skeptical.
anything yet.
Just skeptical.
I understand.
This is going to
She's
be one of those
no. I mean, the state knows what she's going to say. If they wouldn't have her up there if she wasn't going to be useful.
Oh, well, I don't know. She's forced to be their witness. So
still, they still know what she's going to say.
Friday night, October 15th.
Okay.
She is rubbing his back, Wendell. We are going to have a hard time with this one. Look at the lawyer rubbing his back.
Are you another back rubber? Why is that so freaking? That's so weird.
He killed someone.
Why do these people do that? That other lawyer, and Jamie's lawyer, was rubbing her back too.
I know.
He was rubbing her back during her little speech.
I remember,
it's
yeah.
Creepy. It's weird. Put your hands to yourself, people. He's a whole ass murderer. Ew. I wouldn't even want to touch the man.
I wouldn't touch him.
Did you
You know he's got
Joseph
cooties.
on Friday when you got to Vermont?
Yes.
What did he get in touch with you about?
Just about meeting up sometime on Friday.
Hey, Rain Girl.
Did you give Joseph the address of where you were staying?
Scott.
Yes.
And did you see Joseph at?
That mother trucker's wearing his wedding band.
Yes.
Hey, P-Day.
Do you remember about what time that happened on Friday?
That's not okay.
I believe that I saw him after dinner. I don't recall what time that it was.
Where did you see
Like right in the parking lot outside of my Airbnb.
What was he driving?
Their van.
Did you go into the van?
Yes.
Who was in the van?
Emily was. Well, Joe and Emily were together, and then my ex Ariel.
Had you ever met Emily before?
No.
Had you seen pictures of Emily prior to seeing her that time, that Friday night?
Yes.
And where had you seen those pictures?
Via like text, I believe, and then I think probably like on Joey's social media or something.
So she didn't go to their wedding?
How long did you and
Good question.
your ex chat with Mr. Ferlazzo and Emily?
It was very, very briefly.
Do you have
It was maybe,
an estimate for how long?
to be honest, it was 3 years ago. I don't know, maybe like 15 minutes to 30 minutes. It really wasn't very long. And then we just went inside.
When you were in the van, did you notice if Emily or Joseph were drinking alcohol?
I didn't notice that at all.
And while you were in the van, did you drink any alcohol?
No. No, I didn't drink at all through the entire trip because I was having health issues.
Okay. When you were in the van, did you notice if Emily or Mr. Ferlazzo was smoking marijuana?
No.
Could you smell marijuana in the van?
No.
Did you and Joseph make plans to hang out that night after you guys went back inside?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. I did, I did offer it, but then we didn't actually end up hanging out.
Okay. So it's your testimony that you didn't end up hanging out with your brother after seeing him in the van?
No, correct.
Did he or Emily ever come to the Airbnb that night?
No.
Did Joseph text you later that night?
Yes.
And
He basically just said like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Approximately when did he text you?
Maybe around 9 or 10 or something. Like he said, like that they were just gonna stay in instead.
Is that the only text that you got from him that night?
Correct. Yeah.
Did you go to bed immediately after you got back into the Airbnb?
No, we watched Netflix for maybe like a couple hours.
Do you remember what time you went to bed that night?
To be honest, no, but I'm gonna just estimate like a few hours later, maybe like midnight or 1 or something.
Do you recall ever hearing the sound of a gun shot that night?
No.
Do you ever recall hearing the sound of 2 gunshots that night?
No.
I'm going to ask you some questions about the next day, which was Saturday.
Okay.
Do you remember Saturday?
Vaguely, yeah.
At some point during that day, did you talk to Joseph?
Yes.
Was it in the morning or the afternoon?
Morning. We were just talking about getting breakfast the next morning.
And did Joseph ever come to your Airbnb?
Yeah, like just like to like shower basically, but that was it. But I didn't actually see him. Like he just texted me and said, like because he was staying in the van, that he wanted to shower. So I opened up the lock, but I didn't actually see him that next morning.
Okay.
Until we went to breakfast.
All right. So you saw him at when you went to breakfast. How did you get to breakfast?
Driving. I drove.
You drove. Who went with you?
Me, Ariel, and Joe.
Did you ask Mr. Ferlazzo where Emily was?
Yes, but he just told us, like that she was just sleeping, like or like a bad mood or something. So I didn't really ask any further.
remember where you went to breakfast?
Maxie's.
And
I thought,
while you were with your brother in the
wasn't the testimony is they did get together that night and she was really quiet and then they went back to the room and that's where the Yankee Candle incident happened?
I don't know. Why do I not remember that? I don't know. That's sad. I should remember that. I don't. Do you want to replay the opening statement?
No, I'm pretty sure they said that they went out and she was really quiet, but
car or at breakfast, did you ever smell alcohol on him or coming off his body?
No, not that I noticed at all.
Did your brother appear hungover?
No.
During breakfast, did your brother say anything to you about what happened the night before?
I don't believe so, no.
Can you describe what his demeanor was like at breakfast?
well, this is getting
To be
caught
honest,
up
he
status.
seemed
This was
fine the
brand
whole
new. We
weekend.
didn't know
I mean,
anything about it either.
obviously, like he did tell me, like that they fought at one point, and that she ran off. But during breakfast, he seemed fine.
Okay. So I'm now going to ask you about what happened later in the day on Saturday. After breakfast, what did you do?
We went we went over to Jason's house because he tattooed my arm.
Okay. Where does Jason live?
St. Albans.
And Joseph gave you a tattoo on Saturday in St. Albans?
Yeah.
And do you remember how long it took for him to do that tattoo for you?
To be honest with you, no, but I'm probably going to say a few hours.
Okay. And while he was giving you that tattoo, did he say anything to you about what happened to Emily?
No, he basically just said, that they got into a big fight, and that she left the van and ran off, and that she might have maybe met up with a friend or something. But from my understanding, I didn't really understand the relationship. All I understood is that they might have fought often, and he just seemed very distraught that she ran off. So during the tattoo, he seemed upset, obviously, but I didn't have any idea of what actually happened. I just assumed that they had a fight.
Okay. After Joseph finished your tattoo, what did you do?
We went to dinner.
Where did you guys go to dinner?
Twigs, I believe.
Where is that?
I believe that's in St. Albans as well. I'm not familiar.
And who went with you? You, Joseph, and who else?
Ariel, my ex-boyfriend.
And what was Joseph's demeanor like during dinner?
He seemed a little distant and upset, but we viewed it as that would be normal if you had a fight with your wife and they ran off, right? Like that seems very typical.
Okay. And did you, after dinner, where did you go?
Oh, well, back to the Airbnb.
And
I went home.
Go with you to Bolton?
No, I believe that I dropped him off at Jason's and then I went to the Airbnb.
Okay. Did you see Joseph the next day on Sunday?
Yeah, breakfast. We went to breakfast.
Where did you guys meet up for breakfast?
It was a diner. It was a diner in Burlington.
Okay. And can you describe what Mr. Ferlazzo's demeanor was like on Sunday when you guys were at breakfast in Burlington?
To be honest, he seemed a little better than he was the night before. But he just seemed very normal.
And at some point on Sunday, did you and your brother part ways?
Yes.
Did you see him again after that in Vermont?
No, I did not.
Other than on Friday night, did you ever see Emily again before you left Vermont?
No, I did not.
Did you return home?
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, we drove home on Sunday.
And did you have any more communications with Joseph on Sunday?
Just via text. We texted a bit on Sunday, just kind of checking in with each other, and that was about it.
And did you have any communications with him on Monday?
No.
And did you have any communications with him on Tuesday?
I believe I sent a text to him on Tuesday when one of the detectives called me and was asking about his whereabouts. I did reach out to him and I asked him about his safety because I was concerned. They said that both Joseph and Emily were missing.
And did you,
so I reached.
I'm sorry, did you ever hear back from him after you sent that text?
No, I did not.
Prior to today, did I show you what the state has marked as State's Exhibit 1?
Which was just the text messages, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I saw them.
And have you had a chance to review them?
Yes, I did.
And are those text messages a fair and accurate representation of your conversations with Joseph over that weekend in October of 2021?
Yes, they were.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 1.
No objection.
Have you seen a copy, Ms. Jen?
Yes, I have. No objection.
States 1 is admitted without objection.
Look at that hag of a lawyer. Dang.
We have it in for her. She's done, son. That's
I don't like her at all, and she looks so. Well, I don't like her.
Nikki, I
Sorry,
don't have any other questions
I
for
don't
you,
either.
but Ms. Johnson may have some questions for you.
Okay.
and to tattoo someone, you have to have a very steady hand, obviously.
Oh,
So he did a whole. Yeah.
I know, total psychopath, right? Because he did a whole ass tattoo on somebody, calm, cool, and collected.
Right after he chopped up,
His arm wasn't even tired from chopping up his wife.
Right.
This poor
Show
baby.
your tears.
I feel terrible for her. Why are you being so mean to her?
I want to see his tears.
Oh, he's not gonna have any.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't believe him if I saw him anyway. Don't believe you, sir. Look what you did to your sister. Bless her.
Your Kleenex isn't even wet. You fib.
Yeah, you suck, sir.
Were you crying as you chopped her body up? Put them in garbage bags?
I don't remember. Jody Arias.
Yep. Look her in the eye. Look up and look her in the eye. Why can't you?
Monster.
Mm-hmm.
What's taking so long? Come on, lady. Start asking some questions. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Hey, Calamity.
Why isn't she asking any questions?
They're probably begging them to use microphones. I hope.
Ms. Johnson, do you have any cross-examination?
You don't need to cross-examine her. Let her go home. Poor thing.
Ms. Ferlazzo.
Of course she does.
I will be brief.
I hope y'all can hear.
I believe I heard you testify that that Friday night when you went into the camper with your ex-boyfriend, that you didn't observe Joseph or Emily drinking alcohol. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I didn't see anything.
Okay. I just want to clarify. I believe that, do you recall giving a sworn statement to a Pennsylvania
Whoops.
trooper, Yanelli, on
Yeah.
October 21st, 2021?
So she told them they were drinking, huh?
I think that you stated to him that you were in the van approximately 15 minutes. Is that correct?
I don't know. See, because he's trying to say that he was drunk when it happened.
Mm,
So they need her to say they were drinking.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the exact time frame, but that's about it. It was very brief.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. So it wasn't very long. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And just going back.
Okay, Bonds.
Biographical. You are approximately 8 years younger than Joseph. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And you were quite young when Joseph moved out of your family home. This is in Pennsylvania. I believe he was 16 and you were 8. Is that accurate?
As much as I can remember from being 8.
Okay. So fair to say you didn't really share much of a childhood together?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I feel as though we had a younger childhood together, and then we reconnected as we were older.
Okay. Well, and as you grew older, Joseph left for Vermont around 2012. Is that your memory?
To be honest, I don't recall when him and his ex-wife moved to Vermont. I don't remember.
Okay. Do you recall that in that sworn statement to Trooper Yanelli, you had said that after Joseph moved to Vermont, which was around 2012, you rarely saw Joe. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you also stated that Joseph is not a chatty person. So over however many years Joseph was in Vermont, you rarely talked to him. Is that on the phone?
Yeah, I feel like we were a bit distant. And I came to visit him a couple times. He would come to visit me, but it was very rare.
Okay. Yeah, and in fact, you stated, I hate to say to Trooper Yanelli, I hate to say it, but I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
You recall that?
Yeah.
That's not helping him, ma'am.
And so, not having spent much of a childhood with Joseph, and then really not seeing him or spending much time or with him over his adult years, is it fair to say that you don't really necessarily have a baseline as to how maybe Joseph reacts in various situations?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So fine. She doesn't know him very well, but that doesn't mean what she experienced that night didn't happen.
Thank you. Can I sign off?
Yes.
You may.
She's
Okay,
all,
thank
can
you.
I get the fuck out of here, please? Thank
Yeah.
you.
That doesn't help their case. Yeah, I didn't hang out with him because, he's a murderer.
Yeah, well, and he's a lot older than her, and he has, a whole different life experience and all that. But that doesn't mean that what they did that night, is invalid. Her memories of that night are still just as valid.
Right.
I believe so. Miss George has just gone to look and see if she's. Adrian? Kaylee. Thank you.
She is Heather King. I agree with that. The ex-wife got out alive.
I know. I didn't realize there was another ex-wife. First, I thought they meant Emily. I was like, wait, what? Or is that her name, Emily?
Yeah.
Like, you calling her the ex-wife? I guess they meant someone
Oh,
else.
I would say he calls himself a widower.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As
I'm
murderer.
just making us matter. Yeah.
Yes, it's fine though. It's fine. I think it's
Yes, let's
okay.
not forget.
We don't have to like the murderers.
Mm-mm. And the stepmom died under, mysterious circumstances, and nobody got charged with that ever.
Yeah, let's get to that. Love to know what happened there. Was
I'm
she
gonna
chopped
go
up
out
too?
on right. No, I don't think she was chopped up, just stabbed. Like his
Jeez.
wife was shot and stabbed. They're gonna be able to explain that though, so.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Right. Why is she looking at her watch? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say her caseload's not real heavy. Unless she's a state's
Maybe she's is she a public defender?
that's what I was trying to think of. Public defender, yeah. I'd say probably. But I don't know. No, probably not. Because I wouldn't think a public defender would sit there and rub your back.
I just think that's so creepy and weird.
I do too.
I don't know.
This
And
happened in
as a jury member, like if I saw that as a jury member, I would think it was weird. Like that wouldn't sit right with me.
it would cringe me out.
Yeah,
So
same.
It
Yes.
happened in 2021, knitting, and they were on vacation in Vermont. They didn't live that far
Celebrating
from
their
Vermont.
1-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah. Exactly, Scott. And that's kind of a motherly thing to do. Why are you mothering him?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's cringing me out bad. And so, yeah, if I were sitting there on a jury watching that, it would bug me.
Yeah, me too. All right, we need to get through this.
Changing order.
And then this poor woman on the end, she's just like, look, I have to show up because I work for the court system, okay? She don't even look happy about it.
She's like, I don't like him either, guys. It's fine.
Nah. But I did bring a highlighter, so there's that.
All right, what are we waiting on? Let's go.
Is someone on their way?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
I love that judge. We're all thinking
Yeah,
the
me
same
too.
thing. Someone coming or what's happening here?
Okay.
People need to turn up the volume.
I know. I'm getting aggravated.
Yeah.
Where's George?
Thank you, Judge. Hello, Ms. Bass.
Can you hear me okay?
No, speak up.
Not even a little bit, ma'am.
Speak directly into it.
Okay.
Okay. So that everybody in the back can hear you, okay? The jury can hear you.
She's still whispering.
Telling us what your name is.
My name is Adrienne Bass,
And how do you spell your last name?
B-A-S-S.
Okay. And do you know David Bass?
Yes,
Okay. Who is David Bass?
he's my husband.
Okay. And how long have you been married?
5 years.
Okay. Where did you reside in October of 2021?
In 185 Bay Hill Road, Northfield, New Hampshire.
And you resided there with David?
Yes.
Did you reside there with anyone else?
Yes.
Who else did you reside there with?
My son Matthew and my daughter Emily, as well as
This is the mother?
Ferlazzo.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
When was your daughter Emily born?
July 25th, 1999.
She looks like Emily.
When did Emily marry?
Yeah, that's the year Timber was born.
October 10th, 2020.
Yeah, Jonathan too.
How long had they been dating when they got married?
Only a few months.
At the time that they got married, had you met Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes.
How many times?
I only remember one time, but it may have been another time.
Okay. So did you know him well when they got married?
No.
Okay. When did they move in with you in Northfield, New Hampshire?
So Emily had moved back in April of 2021. She made that her legal address again, and then he moved in September 13th, 2021.
So Emily moved back in April. Where was Mr. Ferlazzo residing when she moved back in with you?
I'm not entirely sure if he was still in their Essex Junction apartment or if he was on the Lang's property.
Okay. Do you know the Langs?
No.
Okay. Do you know where they live?
Yes.
Where do they live?
Judge, can I interrupt for just a second and approach, please?
No. Look her in the eye. You can't because you're guilty.
Oh, how could he? Yeah.
Plead not guilty.
And then to try to act like she's the one who is the, bad guy here.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
Oh, wow, Rosebud. Oh, wrong one. Let me.
Can you also spell your first name for us?
Yes. Adrienne. That's a lot louder.
Yes, it is. Okay. Thank you.
God bless her.
I'm going to draw your attention to October 15th of 2021.
Okay.
Did you see Emily and Joseph on that day?
Yes.
And what do you recall about your interactions with them that day?
They were preparing to go on a trip to Bolton Valley, Vermont.
Dang it. Now we can hear her breathe.
And
let me ask you was?
Yes.
What?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay. I think her breathing is picking up louder than the words she's saying. It's not easy,
Okay.
but we'll keep going.
My nose.
No, I think because it's.
Yeah, stop breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're not. She said, "I'll hold my nose."
Going to a trip to Vermont.
Bless her.
Yes.
And what was the purpose of that trip?
The purpose was twofold. One was Emily was excited to meet her sister-in-law, Nikki. She hadn't met her yet. And the other was to celebrate their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Do you know how long they plan to stay in Vermont?
Until Monday.
And did they intend on coming back to New Hampshire on Monday?
Yes.
Did you see them leave?
No.
Okay. Did Emily seem excited to leave? To go on the trip?
She was excited to see her sister-in-law, but it seemed to be taking longer to get the bus ready. So she seemed, I don't know how to describe it. She wasn't upset, but sort of just, what's going on? When are we going? So,
Anxious to go?
yeah.
Okay. Did you speak to Emily once they had left?
Through Messenger.
Okay. Do you recall when the last time was that you heard from her?
It was about around 7:45 that night.
Okay. And that was through Messenger?
Yes.
Messenger. Did you speak to Joseph once they had left?
No.
So you didn't speak to Emily or hear from Emily on after 7:45 or 8 on Friday night?
Correct.
And did you hear from Emily at all on Saturday, the 16th?
No.
Did you hear from Joseph at all on Saturday, the 16th?
No.
Did you speak with Emily at all on Sunday, October 17th?
No.
Did you hear from Mr. Ferlazzo at all on Sunday, the 17th?
No.
Did you speak to Emily on Monday, the 18th?
No.
Did you hear from Mr. Ferlazzo on Monday, the 18th?
Yes.
Did he call you from Vermont?
No.
How did you happen to hear from him on Monday?
He walked into our house
In New Hampshire?
in New Hampshire.
Do you recall when?
It was around 6 p.m.
Okay. And was Emily with him?
No.
Did you ask him where Emily was?
Yes.
What explanation did he give you about why Emily wasn't with him?
That they had an argument, and she got out of the bus on Route 2. He drove away to a gas station to let her cool off, and then he came back. She was gone. He had then said that she had mentioned something about getting an Uber, so he thought that's what she did.
Okay. Did he tell you when this happened?
Saturday afternoon.
Did he tell you where the van, or I should ask first, was he in the van when he came to your house?
No.
What was he on?
He was on the Ducati Monster motorcycle.
Okay. And this was in mid-October, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you why he wasn't in the van?
No.
Did he tell you where the van was?
I asked him 2 different times, and he told me 2 different answers. One was New Haven, and the other is at a garage of somebody, I believe, named Kurt.
Someone named Kurt. Okay. Were either of those locations that he gave you his friend's house in St. Albans?
No.
Okay. What did you observe about him when he arrived?
He was shaking. I interpreted that as he was cold, because because he had just driven from Vermont on his motorcycle.
Based on those observations, what did you say to him?
I suggested he take a shower and then we would talk more about Emily.
Okay. And before he took a shower, did he give you anything?
He gave me Emily's driver's license.
How did that happen?
He had put his hand in his pocket and pulled it out and seemed surprised that it was there and handed it to me.
Should I
And
speak
I
up?
believe I asked him why he had it. And he said that they had gone to buy alcohol and Emily gave it to him just in case they needed to see it.
I'm going to show you what's marked as states 2. Okay. You recognize this?
Yes.
Tell the jury what this is.
That is my daughter Emily's most recent driver's license.
Is this the driver's license that Joseph Ferlazzo?
Yes.
I have no objection, but I am having a little trouble hearing.
Okay. States 2 is admitted without objection. Bring it up. And just do your best to keep that voice up. And Ms. Jantz, if you have continued, let us know so
Thank you.
we make sure you can hear.
Jurors are also having trouble.
Obviously, the jurors, you can raise a hand if you're unable to hear in the back as well, because we want to make sure everybody hears all of the testimony.
When Mr. Ferlazzo was at your house, had the police been contacted at all about Emily?
Objection. Unless she's going to testify that he told her one way or the other whether they had been contacted, I don't know how she would know. And it's a leading question.
We'll sustain it as asked. Sustain the objection.
Were you aware of whether the police had been called?
Same objection.
Foundationally, we'll sustain the objection.
Did Joseph tell you that he called the police?
He did not.
Okay. And did you call the police?
My husband, David Bass, called the police with me.
Okay. And what police agency did you call?
I believe we spoke to both the New Hampshire State Police and the Vermont State Police.
Okay. And did the Vermont State Police ultimately speak to Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes.
And was he at your house when that occurred?
Yes.
How long did Mr. Ferlazzo stay at your residence?
Until about 8 o'clock.
How long after speaking to the police did he leave your residence?
It wasn't very long.
What did he do while he was at your residence?
He took a shower. He ate the dinner that David had made for us. He spoke to the police. He changed his clothes. Spoke to us, answered the questions that we asked him.
Do you recall what dinner he ate?
It was some sort of pasta and sauce.
Okay. And when he ultimately left, after speaking to the police, Did he say why he was leaving?
Yes.
Why did he say he was leaving?
He said that he had work to do in Vermont. He had tattoos to finish.
Before he left, did he agree to anything related to his phone?
I believe my husband, David Bass, was able to get him to share his location. They shared their locations with each other. My intention was to help make sure that the sentiment was to make sure he got to where he was going safely.
And that was in Vermont.
Yes.
Did he leave on the same motorcycle that he arrived on?
No.
What did he leave with?
The red Jeep Wrangler.
And that was his Jeep?
Yes.
And it was at your house?
It was.
And how long had that Jeep been at your residence?
Less than a month.
Do you know whether he owned any other motor vehicles? Any vehicles, not motorcycles?
He owned the converted bus.
And I think, forgive me if you already answered this, do you recall what time he left your residence on Monday?
It was around 8 p.m.
And did you ever see Mr. Ferlazzo again after that?
No.
And did you ever hear from him again after that?
No.
Did you ever see Emily with a firearm?
No.
Did you?
Judge, these are leading questions. Did you ever see her with a firearm? Is a yes or no leading question.
There are certain, I'll overrule you.
Thank you.
To your knowledge, did she own one?
No.
Those are all the questions that I have to ask.
Okay.
So no, she did not have a firearm.
Ms. Jantz, do you have cross?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I understand and appreciate how difficult this is for you.
Thank you.
It's obvious to all of us how deeply troubling and emotional this is for you. So I'm going to try and do my best not to upset you anymore than you already are. Are you picking? Am I being recorded?
I can't hear you, so I'm guessing they can.
You can't hear me? Okay.
We can't either.
I was telling Ms. Bass that I appreciate how hard this is for her to appear today and talk about this. Prior to their, so I think you said you met Joseph once before she and Emily got married. Is that right?
Yes.
And I think you said that your impression was he was quiet. Is that right?
I don't remember if that's what I said.
You didn't dislike him, did you?
No, not at that point.
Did you liked him, didn't you?
I didn't know him at that point.
Well, you knew Emily liked him, right?
Yes.
And I think you said if she liked him, then you were willing to go along with that. Is
Correct.
that about right?
Yes.
So you had, prior to their marriage, you were not, you thought they were happy together. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Did there come a point when you thought that they were having trouble as a couple?
Yes.
When was that?
The New Year's Eve, 2021. Yes.
I'm talking about before Emily's death, which was October 2021.
Sorry, October
2020.
Yes, 2020.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. Helping me.
Okay. What did you see or observe that led you to the conclusion that their marriage might be having some problems?
So it was a phone call from Emily near midnight, stating that she had been in a fight with him and that he had pushed her and she was crying. And then later she went into a room to be by herself away from him. And
Something she told you?
yes.
Okay.
And
in this same phone conversation?
yes.
Go ahead.
And then she recorded herself in that separate room with him on the other side talking to her.
Were they arguing?
She wasn't saying anything to him, but he seemed to be upset that she was in a separate room from him.
What did you hear that led you to that conclusion?
I don't remember exactly what was said.
And after that, were there periods of time when Emily was considering divorce?
Yes.
But as far as you know, that happened more than once that she talked about divorce, right?
Yes.
But they always reconciled. Is that right as well?
Yes.
And you said that Ms. Joseph gave you Emily's driver's license in connection with the purchase of alcohol. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? They drank alcohol together, didn't they?
I believe so.
Vodka and wine. Is that your recollection?
I'm aware of the vodka. I'm not sure about the wine or any other specific types of alcohol.
And this was when they were living in your house, correct?
Yes.
Do you know of any other times when they consumed alcohol? And if you do, how do you know?
Yes. That night, the New Year's Eve night, Emily told me that she'd had some vodka.
Vodka. Was it your impression when they were living in your house that they drank to excess?
I didn't see them drink a lot at all.
At all? Okay. So how do you know that they drank vodka while they were living in your house if you didn't see them drinking?
I didn't see them drinking excessively.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Okay. So prior to the day that they left your house to come to Vermont, you testified on direct examination that Emily was upset that it was taking so long for the camper to be ready. Is that right?
Yes.
What did you see her say or do that led you to that conclusion?
She seemed, how to describe it, not necessarily frustrated, but confused as to why it was taking so long for him to get the bus ready. She said she thought it was ready, but he kept doing different things in the bus and wasn't ready to go.
Okay, so you just said she seemed confused and frustrated. How did she express that? For example,
She told me,
she
said that she doesn't know why the bus isn't ready yet. I thought we were going to go at this time, and he's still doing things.
Was she easily frustrated in your experience?
Wow.
No, it depends on the mood.
On the mood?
Yeah. What's going on? Is she tired?
I'm sorry.
If she's tired,
she would be more easily frustrated.
Sure.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
So where are you going with this? She's already said that she was afraid of
Other than
him,
the phone call you've described to us,
or was divorced and wanted to divorce.
Did you ever see Emily and Joseph arguing?
When he or Emily were driving me places, when she was driving, he would do things like grab the steering wheel on her, change the station, poke at her body.
So I'm going to use a word. He was like heckling her. Is that right? Something to that effect, or is that too benign a word to describe what his actions were? Heckling.
I can say when observing that situation, I was very concerned about our safety.
Okay. How did Emily react?
She was telling him to stop.
Okay. Was he laughing, or did he, for example, think it was a joke?
I don't remember hearing him laughing.
Okay. Did you ever observe any marks on her body?
Yes.
Did you ever ask her how she got those marks?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
The gouges down her chest, she said that she acquired them from their dog. The handprint bruise on the back of her arm, she would not tell me where it came from. And then there's many bruises on her thighs. She said that they came from rough sex.
Rough sex. Did she ever tell you that Joseph had physically abused her, other than the phone call on New Year's Eve that you've told us about?
I don't recall.
So you don't recall, or she never did?
I don't recall.
Okay. You'd remember though, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
Yeah, because you remembered the New Year's Eve call.
Because it was New Year's Eve and it was a big deal.
It was a big deal. And she's your daughter. So you would remember if she'd ever told you about any other instance. May I have a moment?
How'd she get a handprint? Right, exactly, Cassandra.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. George,
I don't have anything else.
thanks so much.
Right, Scott. Hey, little miss, how are you?
Judge, can we take a morning break?
What?
Morning break, please.
We should.
It's 11.
You can leave. You need to leave for 2 minutes. I
Okay, let's see who this is.
The state will call its next witness. All parties are present, including Mr. Ferlazzo.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Kaylee Cataract.
You solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now in consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and that you tell the truth.
I do. Good morning. Can you state your name and spell both your first and your last name?
My name is Kaylee Cataract. My first name is Kaylie. My last name is Cadoretee.
Ms. Cataract, before we get started, I just want to ask you to please keep your voice up because the jurors are having some difficulty hearing us today. Thank you. Ms. Cataract, what town do you live in?
I live in Brattleboro.
How long have you lived there?
A little over a year.
Where did you live before that?
St. Albans.
Where were you living in October of 2021?
St. Albans.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a police officer.
How long have you been a police officer?
About 6 years now.
What police agency do you work for?
I work for Wilmington Police Department. Wilmington Police Department.
Have you worked for other police agencies?
Yes, I have.
And what other agencies?
I worked for St. Albans before Wilmington.
And
Yeah, I
were you
think they're trying to
working
get it
as
together,
the St. Albans
Rosebud.
police officer in October of 2021?
Yes, I was.
Where did you grow up?
St. Albans.
Do you know people by the name of Sarah and Jason Lang?
Yes, I do.
How do you know them?
They are the mother and stepfather of one of my best friends from childhood.
And who is that?
Alex Giroux.
Where do the Langs live?
They live on Meadowbrook Lane in St. Albans.
Have you been to their home?
Yes.
Do you recall being at the Langs home in St. Albans on October 19th of 2021?
Yes.
Do you recall what day of the week that was?
It was a Sunday.
Why were you at the Langs home?
I was there just to spend time with Alex and his parents.
Do you remember what time you arrived?
I think I arrived around 7 p.m.
And when you arrived, who was there?
Alex was there, Sarah was there, and Jason was there.
At some point during the evening, did somebody else arrive?
Yes.
And who was that person?
Joseph Ferlazzo.
Did you know Joseph Ferlazzo at the time?
At the time, no.
Had you met him before?
I found out later that I had met him briefly before.
Was he alone?
Yes.
Do you see the person who you saw that evening in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point to that person and describe where they are sitting and an article of clothing that they're wearing?
He's in the middle seat at that table and he's wearing a blue shirt.
Your Honor, if the record can reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant.
So reflected.
Did you spend the evening at the Lang's house in St. Albans?
Yes.
What did you do?
We sat around the fire and visited and drank a couple beers.
Where is the fire located at the Lang's home?
Directly behind their house in their backyard.
Who was hanging out at the fire?
Myself, Alex, Sarah, Jason, and Joseph.
Did you see Mr. Ferlazzo's van parked on the property?
Yes.
Where was it parked?
It was next to the driveway, a little bit back. You could see it from where we were sitting at the fire.
How far away was it from where you were sitting by the fire?
Maybe 30 feet.
Now, you said that you had you had some beers at the fire. Who were you drinking?
Yes.
How much did you drink?
I think I had 3 beers.
Was Alex drinking?
Yes.
Do you know how much he was drinking?
I don't know.
What about Jason?
Yes.
And Sarah?
Yep.
Was Mr. Ferlazzo drinking?
Not that I recall.
Was anybody using drugs?
Yes.
Who was using drugs?
Joseph.
Do you know what drugs he was using?
It appeared to be marijuana.
And why did you think that?
He was smoking it out of a bong.
How do you know what a bong is?
Life experience and law enforcement experience.
Do you recall how much he was smoking or how often he was smoking?
I recall that he was, as I'd recall somebody sitting across from me drinking, but I don't know how much.
Did Mr. Ferlazzo appear high or under the influence to you?
No.
Can you describe Mr. Ferlazzo's demeanor during the evening?
He was very relaxed, casually engaged in conversation.
How long were you hanging out with him by the fire?
I think it was about 4 hours.
During that 4-hour period of time, were you talking with him?
Yes.
What were you talking about?
We talked about our jobs. We talked about the camper that he was renovating. He said that he was going to live out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just small talk.
Remember, y'all, he had already killed her at
while
this
you
point.
were talking, You mentioned, did he tell you what he did for a living?
Yes, he said he was a tattoo artist.
And when he told you that he was a tattoo artist, did you recognize him at that point?
Yes.
And tell us about that.
A friend of mine had gotten a tattoo from him years before.
And was that when you made the connection of that you had previously met him?
Yes.
Did you tell Mr. Ferlazzo that you were in law enforcement?
Yes.
How did he react to that?
He continued to engage me in conversation very steadily for the rest of the night.
Around what time did the evening end?
I think around midnight.
And how did it end?
Myself, Alex, Sarah, and Jason went into their house, and Joseph went off in the direction of his camper.
As you were retiring for the night, did Mr. Ferlazzo say anything to you?
Yes.
What did he say?
A comment was made where he related something to Emily. He said, "Oh, Emily likes that." And I said to my friend Alex, "Oh, I didn't know that he had a wife."
Had he not spoken about a person named Emily in the 4 hours before?
No.
Did he tell you that he was married?
No.
Did he tell you that his wife had walked off on Saturday and he hadn't heard from her?
No.
Did he tell you that he had been texting his wife's phone and she hadn't been responding?
No.
Did you see those eyes, Randy?
Any cross?
No. I looked down a second.
See his eyes? Look,
Whose
bop
eyes?
it back a couple and look at his eyes. Bop it back just a tiny bit
Any
till his eyes come up.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
any cross, Ms. Jones?
Good morning. Checking to see if it's still morning. So you
Did I
just
go back
testified
far
that
enough?
you
I mean, I
initially
guess not.
thought
I
you
don't
had
know.
never met
I don't know if
Joseph.
you did or not. Maybe not, but whatever. When you
Heard
see
from
his
her?
eyes,
I'm
look,
very curious now.
Or not spoken
they look so
about a
demonic.
person named Emily in the 4 hours before?
No.
Did he tell
Okay,
you that
it's
he was
after this.
married?
No.
Did he tell you that his wife had
He talks to
walked
his
off on
hair or
Saturday and
something.
he
He
hadn't heard
looks
from
like
her?
No.
we can see his eyes. Right there. Look at those eyes.
Oh,
Look at those eyes,
and she
y'all.
wasn't
Oh my
responding?
God.
Did he
Those are scary ass eyes. He's got the
walked off
demon
on
eyes.
Saturday and he hadn't heard from her?
No.
Oh, I
Wow.
don't like them eyes. Look at them. Oh my goodness. I don't
Why
like
don't
those
you
eyes
rub
at
on his
all.
back some? Now.
Damn psycho.
Did he tell you that he had been texting his wife's phone and she hadn't been responding?
No.
Mm-hmm. See, he's not even telling people he's married. That's weird.
No. He's just engaging them in casual conversation.
You know,
Like
after he
nothing
killed her and
ever had, like I didn't just chop her up in a bunch of pieces and shit.
yeah, and I'm not at a bonfire now acting like nothing happened. Sure. We're just chit-chatting here.
So weird.
I don't have any other questions.
And she's a cop. He could have said, I was afraid for my life, so I did this. But no, that didn't come up.
Nope. Did not come up at all, did it?
Your Honor.
Any
He's got
cross,
the
Ms. Jones?
weird eyes, man.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of hate. You're right, Rain Girl.
They're like black, like shark's eyes.
Still morning. So you just testified that you, initially thought you had never met Joseph before, correct?
Yeah.
Had you actually met him when your friend had the tattoo previously?
I was with her when she
Okay,
had her tattoo.
but you had no memory of that at the time?
No, it was years before.
Okay. I think you testified that you yourself and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Jason and Sarah Lane and their son your best friend, were sitting around first around the bonfire, and at some point, Mr. Ferlazzo came and sat down.
Correct.
Is that correct? So it wasn't a situation where it was just you and Mr. Ferlazzo having, the two of you having a conversation. It was sort of a group bonfire.
Correct.
Okay. So do you recall giving a deposition on June 13th, 2023?
Yes.
Approximately, yeah. So you stated in your deposition that the conversation was very small talk type. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I think that you also mentioned that Mr. Ferlazzo's dog was around, and so there was some playing with the dog as well?
I believe so.
Okay. Then at some point he left, and you folks remained in the Lang's house, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I think that you had mentioned that and do you recall giving an interview with Detective Truex?
Yes.
And I believe also in the deposition, you stated that he seemed normal, and you had also mentioned that he hadn't mentioned his wife, but yet you were talking about small talk things.
Yes.
So having not really interacted with Mr. Ferlazzo previously, you wouldn't really necessarily have a baseline or no way of knowing how Mr. Ferlazzo behaves typically in various situations. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. So his normal behavior or abnormal behavior, there's nothing to compare it to.
He was calm.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No redirect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I guess that was just to prove that after he did it, he was calm, went to a bonfire. Just,
Yeah, business as usual, I guess.
yeah.
Totally normal. Not at all weird.
I guess there's another officer. I think he was at the party. So honestly, we could probably skip
Strange
that.
man.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Hey, Joseph, this is Trooper Cody from Vermont State Police. Hey, so I just got off the phone with your father-in-law.
Oh, yes.
And sounds like there's some concern about maybe where Emily may be. Okay, what can you? It sounds like you. What do we know at this point? I guess. What can you tell me?
She said she was gonna get an Uber, so she asked me to drop her off to the parking lot, and I dropped her off. She was wearing like white sneakers and like ripped blue jeans and like a black top, it's like long sleeves and like a lightweight. And yeah, I went to the gas station, grabbed her Coke, and when I went back, she had already been picked up. I'm looking for her, I couldn't find her, and then I haven't been able to make contact with her since. And that was like Saturday afternoon.
So where did you drop her off? Whereabouts? What? Like up at
Is it glitchy to anybody else?
So like the road that goes.
No, what's it? Let me read the chat. Let me see. I think he left her in the bathroom. Are you here, Wendy? Uh-oh. She got kicked. She'll be right back. We're just waiting on Wendy, and then we'll resume it back. That Alan. There she is.
That?
You're back.
Yes, I'm back. It was
Okay.
glitching for me, so maybe it's better now, hopefully.
We'll see.
Up to the ski resort. So the little parking lot right at the base of that hill you're seeing? Like almost right in the corner of the main road there, Route 2? Yeah. Okay. And that was Saturday in the afternoon? Okay. And then you went to the gas station, the one, just down the street there? Yeah, I went down the street, got some gas, and grabbed a Coke, and then she wanted a soda. I went to bring her a drink, and she was gone. So, I don't know who picked her up. She didn't tell me, and my folks said that she's not with her friends. Okay. So after you just noticed she was gone, you just...
His lawyer does not seem happy about this recording whatsoever.
Decided to just leave, I guess.
Good. Stop rubbing his back now.
Yeah, that's him lying, ma'am. Yeah, it's recorded. He lied.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he not tell you he did that, ma'am? Did he not mention that he lied out his ass?
That's weird.
So
Shocked
strange.
he didn't. That he would lie to you, not, just everyone else, not you.
Right. Such an honest, upstanding citizen.
No, you're not getting pity. Don't be looking over at the camera. No pity from us, ma'am.
No, not from us.
No, you dug your hole. Lay there in it.
Over somebody else, girl. Yeah, she said she was getting over. Okay. But she had her cell phone with her at that time?
Honestly, she looks exhausted, so...
She does look exhausted.
Yeah.
Let me see if I feel sorry for her. Nope.
Purse or wallet or something with some money?
I'm trying not to. It's just she's doing her job. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Nope.
And
You have to
about
get it
what
back.
time
It's part of it.
was this? Did you drop her off? What did you say? Maybe like a little afternoon, like 12:30. Like 12:30. Okay. Somewhere around there. Okay. And then, so I understand you're and Emily's van. You guys were traveling in like a camper van. Yes. Okay. But it broke down somewhere. You said. Yeah, the training smoked. So, the van's in Vermont. I came back to New Hampshire to see if she was here, but she was okay. Where did your van break down? Well, it didn't break down. It smoked, and then I brought it to the shop. Is supposed to get an inspection.
Rosebud.
The inspection was supposed to be done in like July, so. Okay. what shop is that?
I don't know the actual name of it. It's in New Haven.
It's in New Haven.
Yeah, like right over the railroad tracks.
Oh, yep. Okay. Right on the main of the railroad there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got a ride somehow to your motorcycle?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you get your motorcycle?
My motorbike was at my friend's house. In St. Albans.
In St. Albans. Okay. And other than who Emily's parents have mentioned, you can't think of anybody in the Bolton area that maybe Emily. Did you guys have relatives in Bolton? Or is Emily?
No, my sister and her boyfriend came up and stayed at an Airbnb, and we just went and spent some time with them.
Okay.
And she super violent and told me to, put her out, and I tried to grab her by the arm and try to pull her back in. She said, "Come on, do it for me." And she just, she kicked me in the groin and punched me, and I was like, okay, take a couple minutes, and then by the time I came back, she just quit.
What sparked her to get so upset?
I was like, you just need some food. You need maybe some coffee and some food. And she was just like, no, fuck that, fuck you. And she just started swinging and kicking.
Okay. And was the Airbnb here in Bolton?
That was at the top of the resort there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who's your friend up in St. Albans?
My friend Sarah Lane.
Sarah Lane. Okay. Do you have a phone number for Sarah? Does Emily know Sarah? I mean, have you checked in with Sarah?
Yeah, I saw Sarah. She hasn't seen her.
Wonder why.
Yeah, I saw Sarah, and I was like, okay, I don't know where the hell Emily is, so.
Hey, Brenda, you're good.
So, I booked a place because we were supposed to come back here on Monday. Today's Monday. She's not here.
Okay. Would there be any reason why Emily would go back to your sisters and maybe your sister wouldn't tell you that Emily was there?
No, my sister just messaged me. She was checking on me.
Okay.
Yes, but I was okay. I told her that I'm pretty crappy, but.
When Emily jumped out of the van, did she have her cell phone in there?
Yeah.
You're positive on that?
Yeah. I don't have it.
No, I didn't know if she left it in the van or. No. Okay. All right. Well, I will. I'm gonna ask more questions. I'll probably call you back here if I see if I can try to come up with something here. Maybe we try to find out where she is, or if she's just trying to, ignore. That's fine. But I'd like to at least figure that out. So, if you think there's anybody that I should try calling, just let me know.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye.
The one I really want to hear before we get off, because I know
On
we've
the
been
video,
on a
you
while.
can see your phone, as you stated. Is that the phone number 802-355-8485? Is that the
friend
number you
that
reached
called 911.
Mr. Ferlazzo on?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And were you ultimately able to speak to the friend he said that he went to see in St. Albans, Sarah Lang?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you speak with her?
I spoke with her. I found a number for her moments after speaking with Joseph.
Okay. And based on that conversation, did you ask a St. Albans police officer to go to her residence?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall where her residence was?
14 Meadowbrook Drive in St. Albans.
Okay. And what did you ask that officer to do?
I asked the officer to drive by the residence and see if the camper RV, the camper van was there.
Okay. And was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Okay, so it was not in a garage in New Haven?
Correct.
Oh, did he go in? Did you go in?
So what did you do next after determining that it was in this residence in St. Albans?
So we, few troopers went up to St. Albans and we observed the camper van there.
Okay. And do you recall approximately what time you arrived at the residence in St. Albans?
It was after midnight, but I don't recall the exact time.
Okay. And again, did you observe a van matching the description of what you'd been told by Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes, I did.
And where was it located?
On the west side, it was parked in the grass on the west side of the residence.
Okay. Who was with the van when you arrived?
As far as
law enforcement,
I believe, I know Senior Sergeant Joe Paquette was involved. Trooper Adam Lippo was involved. I can't recall any other.
Okay.
Top of my head. Yeah.
Did you personally close up the van with evidence tape?
Yes, I did.
And what was the purpose of that? Why did you do that?
To secure the inside of it, to make sure that nobody entered any of the access points to the van.
Why'd you do that?
It was seized as evidence.
Okay. So you had concerns there might be evidence of a crime
That's
in the van?
That's correct.
Okay. And did you supervise the removal of the van from the scene?
Yes, I did.
Did you observe the tow truck actually come and remove the van?
Yes, I did.
And where did the tow truck take it?
Directly from 14 Meadowbrook to the St. Albans State Police Barracks.
Okay. And approximately how far is 14 Meadowbrook from the St. Albans Police Barracks?
2 miles.
Did you ever lose sight of the van at any point during that trip?
No, I did not.
Did you also observe the Jeep, the red Jeep, or a red Jeep coming to the barracks secured area?
Excuse me. Yes, I observed the red Jeep once it arrived at the barracks.
Okay. Did you secure it?
Yes, so the Jeep the van was too big to put into our
Right.
indoor
Tell us
sally
about
port.
going through the van.
So we put the Jeep evidence.
Okay. Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Trooper.
Okay. I guess he didn't go through the van.
That's weird that he didn't even look in there.
Yeah,
I wonder
guess
if
they had to
he
have.
would have found anything.
Yeah, I think.
Where did
yeah,
they end up finding her? Was she still in the van?
Remember-
or
Where do you
was
live,
she
Mr.
in-
Lemons?
There was a garbage bag with a leg in it in the bathroom.
Okay, that's what I didn't remember. Okay, God,
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I can get that.
Let's see if this is the friend.
Please be seated, everyone. We are back on the record in
Hey, Pam.
matter of State of Vermont versus Joseph Ferlazzo Jr., 21 CR 8967. Mr. Ferlazzo was present with his attorneys, and the state is with its attorneys. The jury is all back from lunch and lunch break. Information of any from the jury.
We are, Judge.
Maybe this is him.
Yeah, maybe.
Shall be affirmed the evidence you shall give related to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth, nothing but the truth underneath.
I do.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name?
My name is Spencer Lemons.
Mr. Lemons, the acoustics in this room are not very good, so I'm going to ask you to just keep your
Spencer
voice-
Lemons.
Thank you.
There you go.
Where do you live, Mr. Lemons?
I live
Spencer
in
understands
Shelton,
the
Vermont,
assignment.
56 Bailey Drive.
And how long have you lived there?
I've lived there 10 years.
Were you living there in October 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know a person named Joseph Ferlazzo?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know him?
He was a friend of mine.
How long have you known him?
I knew him probably since 2017-ish, 16-ish.
Do you see Joseph in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point to him, describe an article of clothing he's wearing and where he's sitting for the jury?
Sitting over there wearing a blue shirt.
Your Honor, if the record could reflect that Mr. Lemons has identified Mr. Ferlazzo.
So reflected.
Mr. Lemons, I'm going to ask you some questions about the weekend of October 16th and 17th and 18th of 2021. Do you remember that weekend?
I do.
What were you doing that weekend?
I was hiking Mount Katahdin, and then I came home to spend the weekend with my wife for our anniversary.
When was your anniversary?
17th of October.
Did you communicate with Joseph that weekend?
I did.
When did you first hear from him?
I heard from him when he communicated that he was going to be coming up to my house
And how did he communicate with you?
via Facebook Messenger.
Do you remember when he told you he was coming to your house?
It's late at night after 9 p.m.
Did he tell you anything about when you could expect his arrival?
Yeah, he said it would be around 11:20 at night.
That's a normal time.
Mr. Ferlazzo arrive at your home?
Definitely not an emergency at all, right? That's a total normal time. For
What time did he arrive?
by.
About 11:20.
I'm going to be over there around midnight.
What vehicle was he driving?
Okay.
Don't go to sleep.
Both sides or
That
mainly the
seems
witness?
ridiculous.
Okay, try. Let's project.
Yes, sir.
What vehicle was he driving?
He was driving a red Jeep.
Did he come inside?
No,
What did he say to you?
he said, "Let's go pick up my van."
Did you know where his van was?
He said it was at someone's house called the Langs.
Did you know where that residence was?
No, ma'am.
Had you ever been there before?
No, ma'am.
Did he tell you why he wanted to get the van?
He said he wanted to get the van up to my house because that was the original plan, and he wanted to get it done now.
Did you take him to get the van?
I did.
What car did you drive?
I took my Honda Civic.
Where was Mr. Ferlazzo's Jeep?
It was parked at the end of my driveway on Bailey Drive.
Did Mr. Ferlazzo go with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was Mr. Ferlazzo's demeanor like while you were driving in the car?
He was quiet.
Did you ask him why he was quiet?
I did ask him if there was anything going on, and he seemed a little distraught. He said, "I just want to get to the bus." And so I had him point the directions out to me as we went.
Okay, keep your voice up.
He pointed the directions out to me as we went.
Okay. And generally speaking, where were you traveling to?
We were traveling to St. Albans.
And about how long would it take to get from your home to St. Albans?
About 30 minutes.
Did you arrive in St. Albans?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened when you arrived in St. Albans?
We went in St. Albans. He gave me directions to where to go, and we arrived at where his bus was parked, and I assume that's the Langs.
What did you see when you arrived where the bus was parked?
I saw several patrol SUVs parked outside the residence.
And when you say patrol SUVs, do you mean police cars?
Police vehicles,
Do you remember how many you saw?
3 or 4.
What did you think when you saw those police vehicles?
Alarm bells went off in my head, and then he said, "Just go to the end of the road." It was a dead-end road, and he said, "Turn around." And then I turned around, and he instructed me to drive past the police.
When he told you to turn around,
What did that make you think?
That made me think something was not correct in the situation, and thus it prompted me to continue to prod him for what's going on.
Okay, and did you do that?
I did. I asked him, what's going on, man? You need to tell me what's going on. If I'm going to be driving past police officers, I need to know what is going on.
And did he respond to you?
He did.
How did he respond?
He responded to me with, there's a lot going on. I wish I could see my grandmother. And then I said, what is going on? He said, Emily is back in the van. I said,
oh,
is Emily alive? He said, no. And I asked, did you hurt her? And he said, yes. And then he started getting fidgety in the car.
Okay. Can you describe what Mr. Ferlazzo was like when you say he started to get fidgety?
He started going like this, moving around, reaching for the car door handle. I didn't know if he had anything on his person that would maybe cause harm to myself. So I immediately stopped the vehicle and told him to get out.
And did he say anything to you as he was getting out of the car?
Not that I remember.
What did you do when Joseph got out of the car?
I immediately turned around towards my house to put distance between myself and him so I could make a 911 call for the information he just gave me.
And did you make a 911 call?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Do you remember what time you made that call?
It was probably close to midnight.
Prior to your testimony today, have you heard that 911 call?
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
So Judge, at this time,
That'd be rough.
the state would move for the court to read to the jury stipulation number 1, which I have for you.
All right, stipulation number 1 reads, members of the jury, the state and defendant Joseph Ferlazzo have agreed that you may find certain facts. This is called a stipulation. On October 19th, 2021 at 12:03.08 a.m., Spencer Lemons called 911. That call was initially answered by the E911 dispatch board. The E911 dispatch board connected the call with the Vermont State Police Dispatch Center. Chain of custody is not being challenged. As with any evidence in this trial, you must decide what weight you will give this stipulation. And that is also marked as State's Exhibit 116.
Yes.
Judge, okay?
All right, and we will admit State's
Yes.
116.
No,
I think he had other
tired.
plans. Yeah.
I think he's just tired.
yeah. I think all of
The
them.
like
state
every
would
time
now move to admit what it
you
is
open up
previously
something
marked
up,
as State's Exhibit 4, which is the 911 call.
he's offended about
Any
it.
objection?
no objection.
State's 4 is admitted without objection.
Bless him.
You ready, sir? Right.
This poor guy.
Vermont 911, where is your emergency?
Yeah, this guy,
Yes,
what
my
a.
name is Spencer Lemons. I've got a guy that is going towards St. Albans on Route 36. Trying to make a long story short, he's a friend of mine. Came to my house. He lives in a bus thing. He was like, hey, can we go pick up my bus? And we go to pick up his bus in St. Albans, and there's a bunch of cops outside. I said, what the heck is going on? He says he killed his wife. I got him out of my car. He's on this road, and I guess there's a bunch of state troopers at that place on somewhere in St. Albans. There's like 4 cops there, and I was like, no, but you got to get out of my car. And I was afraid I got to get him out.
All right, so where,
on the
do
road.
you know where this is happening? Or
Yes, yes. There's 4 cops there. I could come and I could help out. I had to get him out of the car.
No.
He's on Route 36 right now walking.
Oh, he's walking on Route 36, is that still in Fairfield or is that in St. Albans?
Just over Fairfield Hill, just before, what is that? I'm trying to see the name.
Carriage? Is it the carriage house?
There's it's before you reach Woodland Road, which is a private road on 36. That's where I'm at. But yeah, there's 4 troopers that were at that place. I don't know the name of that street. But yeah, keep walking on the road. And I don't care who.
And you were Fairfield when he stated this to you?
He stated this to me when he said, we gotta go back to my house. I'm like, are those cops for you? What is going on? And I said, what is going on? He says, my wife was in, he said, I did something really bad. I said, what did you do? And he said that his wife is inside that bus. And I said, is she alive? And he goes, no, I don't want to go to prison. If you get on my call right now, I'm calling the cops.
So he just basically shit his
So
pants.
when he told you that, were you in Fairfield or were
Yes.
you in St. Albans, do you know?
I'm
No,
in
not
Fairfield
good
right
idea.
now. That's where he was. I just took him out of my car on 36 because I don't know if he's got a weapon or anything.
Okay, so you don't know if he has a weapon, okay. And what
I
is
do
his
not
name?
know. His name is Joseph Ferlazzo, Ferlazzo.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Ferlazzo. His first name is Joseph, Josephh. He was staying with someone called the Langs, Langs, and that's where his bus was parked at. And that's where I thought I was taking him to get his bus. I did not know. Oh my God. Feels like a bad movie.
Hold on a second.
It's just hitting him.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on near Woodland Road, which is a private road, right off of 36.
Can you spell that for me?
WOODLAND Road.
Okay, and is that, one word or 2 words, do you know? I'm just trying to map it.
One word, and his Jeep is parked at my house.
Okay, and where is your house?
My house is 56 Bailey Drive, Enosburg Falls, Vermont. That's where I'll head. There is 0 cell service there, though.
Okay. But all this is taking place in
about
Fairfield?
2 minutes of right now. Yeah, Fairfield is right here, and then the directions to get to his Lions place. Do you know where those 2 gas stations are off the exit? What is it, 19 off the interstate?
Yeah.
There's if you continue down that road as if you're going to go to Stone's Auto, and you bang a left on the main street, it's like the first left after that. There's like another little gas station down past that road.
Okay. All right, but he told you that he had killed his wife when you guys were on Route 36, when you were taking him back with
100%,
him.
yeah.
Okay. All right, hold on a second.
And then I just stopped the car like, yeah, no, oh my God.
Okay. All right, and did he put up a fight when you asked him to get out?
No, he was like, he's like, man, I don't want to go to prison. Don't take me back there. I said, and then he just started getting fidgety, and I don't know if he's got anything on him. I mean, yes, I am armed, but I'm not looking at any confrontation.
Seems like if it was self-defense, he wouldn't be worried about prison.
Right?
Hold on a second.
Because I got a family and wife and kids. I don't need this crap around me.
Okay, no, I completely understand. Do you know what his wife's name is?
He really did just
Her
shoot
name
himself.
was
Yeah.
Get the motherfucker out of here.
Yeah.
Emily.
Come and get him. I told you where he is. Come and get him.
Yeah.
I don't want him near me.
His Jeep's in my yard. Here's my address. Come get it.
I don't live there anymore. I'm leaving today.
Yeah.
See me again.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We're gonna transfer over, okay?
Yep.
He absolutely just doesn't want to have fun all to do with this guy
Mm-mm.
ever again.
No. I'm sure he's mad that he has to be in court today.
He probably is. He's trying not too happy about it.
305-7127. Tonight, he had picked up his friend Joseph Ferlazzo, and he was bringing him back to his sedan bus that he lives in. On Route 36, Joseph has stated to inspectors that he had killed his wife tonight and that she was in this sedan. Joseph was not armed, and he asked him to get out. Now he's walking on Route 36. Joseph is on Route 36.
I wonder how he thought that conversation was going to go.
He's walking on 36.
He probably thought, it's all right, bro. I'll help you out.
I got you, bro. We totally know how to get out of there. Why are people who kill people so stupid?
It's right.
He's wearing a black long sleeve and pants or shorts. I honestly don't know. I wasn't looking. He stopped by the house.
He's in pants or shorts.
I don't even know. He's like, I have no idea. Did you hear what I said? He killed his wife. Get over here.
What? She's still in the van.
Still in the van. I'm freaking out. Come and get him.
Thank you.
Ms. Jantz.
Do you need a break?
No, it seems like
Because
you do, though.
I saw you becoming some emotional listening to that 911 call.
That is anger in his eyes, I
Joseph was
believe.
your friend, wasn't he?
He was.
And
Yes.
Killed somebody.
thank you. And you were surprised when he told you that he had killed
She was
Emily,
not.
weren't you?
Is she kidding?
In fact, he asked you if you would
Did
kill
they teach you
him.
that in law
Did-
school, ma'am? I'm
Yes.
so impressed.
Is this the
You
first
told
time he's
the
ever told you
911
he killed
dispatcher
anyone?
that you were
Were you
armed,
surprised?
right?
Yes.
And you had a gun in the car that you were driving in, correct?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Joseph typically carried a weapon as well, didn't he?
Yes.
But you didn't know that night if he were armed or not, correct?
Correct.
You didn't think he'd ever be able to do something like that, did you?
I don't know.
Well, based on your
Good answer.
friendship with him from, I think you said
Yeah, obviously I didn't
2017,
know him, ma'am.
3 years you knew him prior to this event, right? Yeah.
About that.
Okay. And had you ever seen him demonstrate any kind of violence that would lead you to think this is the kind of thing he could do?
I had not witnessed that myself.
Yeah, obviously I didn't know him very well, though, ma'am.
Would you say he was very distraught when you told him to get out of the car?
It seemed that way.
He's like, what? You're not standing by me?
Yeah. He was
Are
distraught.
you
He said he
having
didn't want to go to
trouble with
prison.
the?
It seemed that way. Sorry.
That's okay. In fact, you told the police in an interview that the guy doesn't like violence. Isn't that right?
I don't remember.
Okay. You remember a conversation with Sergeant LeBombard? You had more than one, I know you
I
did.
feel like all
Do
this
you
woman
remember
does
that
is
one in
refer back
particular?
to
That was 3 years ago.
everybody's
It's hard to remember.
interviews.
Okay.
Did she not study
But you've
for
already
this?
told us that you hadn't observed
You
violence.
have no idea how to
Joseph
defend this guy.
exhibiting violence
I guess so.
over the 3 years
I mean,
you've
you've
known
never
him,
seen
right?
him shoot anyone before.
Okay.
Other than her ridiculous
moment,
opening
please?
statement, you're right. She
Yeah.
probably doesn't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But so far, she's referenced all of the other interviews always. So it's like that's what she did to prepare herself for this trial.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Okay.
Is this his mom?
Thank you. I have nothing else.
He's trying so hard to be emotional, but he can't.
Thank you.
You know why? He doesn't feel.
Thank you, sir.
He's probably just shitting himself. He's probably just scared. Scared isn't the same as sorry, though.
Your Honor, the state calls Trooper Adam Lippa.
Okay. Now we're getting to the state troopers, but I think this is a good place to end it.
Okay.
You know, it's Sunday, and
Yeah.
that's probably, and I'll look
Good
through
taste
it and
of
make
it,
sure.
though. Definitely a good introduction to it. So when we get, when we do more,
Yeah.
we'll be
So yep.
invested.
Day 2 is tomorrow. Right. It's absolutely hard to defend the undefendable. I've tried it myself. Can't do it. Thankfully, it wasn't in the court. Felt like it was in court, though. All right, y'all. We're going to go.
Wrong.
And so I can spend the rest of the day with Jimmy. And
all right.
Thank y'all for joining us, and see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back with this tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Yep. Bye, y'all.